game, currently in second place in the Frontier League East, a record of 29-29, and looking to turn things around. As of late, they're on a 3-game losing streak as they were swept by the Southern Illinois Miners coming into tonight's game against the normal Cornbelters. Wild Things continuing their stretch. They have 4 straight series against the West Division, and in total, it's a 7-series stretch against West Division opponents. So they continue that tonight as they face off against the normal Cornbelters. On Sunday, unfortunately, a heartbreaking loss for your Washington Wild Things. They lost 12-10 to the Southern Illinois Miners. Going to have a recap of that game for you. Also going to take a look at the last time these two teams met out in Normal, Illinois. The series went the Wild Things' way as the Wild Things would take 2 of 3 from the normal Cornbelters in that series. So we're also going to take a look at how that series went. Also got the lineups for you and the starting pitching matchup. It's all coming up right here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Now, as we said last night, unfortunately, a heartbreaking loss for your Washington Wild Things. They led 10-1 at one point, but would fall by the score of 12-10 in 9 innings. So let's go right to the scoring. It all started in the top of inning number 1. 3 straight singles for the Wild Things. Andrew Heck, Chris Grayson each singled, and Ricky Rodriguez, an RBI single, drove in Andrew Heck and gave the Wild Things a 1-0 lead. Then Dave Popkins was hit by a pitch. That would load the bases again. Logan Uxa would strike out, and Kyle Pollock would hit a sacrifice fly. That brought in Chris Grayson for the second run of the game. That made it 2-0. Very next batter, Jimmy Yezzo hit an RBI single. That scored Ricky Rodriguez, and Grant Fink would hit into a fielder's choice. So after half an inning, it was 3-0 Washington Wild Things. Then in the second inning, Wild Things back at it again. Austin Wobrock flew out to start things. Then Andrew Heck was hit by a pitch, and Chris Grayson hit a 2-run home run that to this day still might not have landed. A moonshot over the right field wall, and that gave the Wild Things a 5-0 lead. Next batter, Ricky Rodriguez would double, and then Dave Popkins, an RBI double, brought Rodriguez in. That made the score 6-0 Washington Wild Things. Then Logan Uxa grounded out, and Kyle Pollock came through, drove in Dave Popkins, Pollock's second RBI of the year. Popkins would score, be 7-0 Wild Things. Yezzo would ground out to end that inning. It would remain 7-0 Wild Things after 2 innings of play. In the bottom of the third, the Southern Illinois Miners got their first run. Francisco Rosario singled to start things. Then Brendan O'Brien reached on a 2-base error. Then a sac fly by Shane Kennedy brought in Rosario, made the score 7-1 Wild Things. Nolan Early would strike out, Alex De Leon would single, and Steve Marino would fly out to end the inning. Wild Things would respond right back in the top of the 4th. Chris Grayson and Ricky Rodriguez started off the inning with singles, and then Dave Popkins came through with a 2 RBI double. Grayson and Rodriguez both scored, and the Wild Things had a 9-1 lead. That would be all for the starter, Rick Teasley. Coming in to relieve him was Dustin Batson, and Logan Uxa flew out. Kyle Pollock driving in his 3rd RBI of the day, hit a sacrifice fly. Popkins would score, and the Wild Things had a 10-1 lead. Yezzo would strike out to end the inning. After 4, it was Wild Things 10, Southern Illinois 1. The final line on the starter, Rick Teasley. Teasley went 3 innings of work, giving up 11 hits, 10 runs, all earned, no walks, and 2 strikeouts on the night for Rick Teasley. So not a very good outing for Teasley against the Wild Things, but as you would see, Southern Illinois made a turn for the better late in this ball game. Their comeback started in the bottom of the 5th against starting pitcher Brian O'Keefe. O'Keefe rolled through the first 4 innings of this game, struck out 4 batters, had only allowed 2 hits through 4 innings of work, and had only walked 2 men, so it was cruising right along. And then the bottom of the 5th happened. Brendan O'Brien flew out to start things. Then Shane Kennedy singled, and Nolan Early walked, Shane Kennedy walked, sorry about that. 5th inning started with a Brendan O'Brien fly out. Shane Kennedy singled, then the very next batter, Nolan Early hit an RBI single into left field, got to second as they had problems fielding it in the outfield, and that allowed Shane Kennedy to score. The score would go to 10-2. Very next batter, Alex De Leon, an RBI single of his own. That would score Nolan Early. It would become 10-3. Steve Marino would then single before Riley Moore sacrifice fly drove in Alex De Leon. That made the score 10-4. Very next batter, Edison Sanchez with 2 on and 1 man out, a 2 RBI double, scoring both Marino and De Leon, and that made the score 10-6. Julius Gaines struck out Francisco Rosario walked, and Brendan O'Brien would fly out to end the inning. Going on to the bottom of the sixth, it was 10-6 Wild Things. Brian O'Keefe's day ended at 4 2/3 innings. He gave up 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Andrew Wick getting the last out in that bottom of the 5th inning. Bottom of the 6th, Southern Illinois was back at it again against Wick. Francisco Rosario reached on an error to start the inning. Then Brendan O'Brien singled. Shane Kennedy walked. And Nolan Early came up with the bases loaded, nobody out. He would walk, driving in a run, making the score 10-7 Washington Wild Things. Next batter, fielder's choice for Alex De Leon, grounded out to Wick. Wick threw to the plate, got the runner at the plate, so the bases were still loaded with one man out in the ball game. And then Steve Marino, the crippling shot, a grand slam over the left field wall, gave Southern Illinois an 11-10 lead in the bottom of the 6th. Riley Moore would ground out, and Edison Sanchez would ground out to end the inning. That was in the end of the day for Andrew Wick. Wick went 1 2/3 innings, gave up 5 runs, all earned on 2 hits, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout on the night for Wick, and it was 11-10 Southern Illinois. Then the Miners would add on in the bottom of inning number 8. Nolan Early tripled to lead off the inning. Then Alex De Leon, a sacrifice fly, drove in early and made the score 12-10. Steve Marino would line out, and Riley Moore would ground out to end the inning. Top of the 9th, Wild Things tried to fight back against closer Adam Lopez. Jimmy Yezzo would ground out to start things. Grant Fink and Austin Wobrock then back-to-back walks. So there were runners at first and second, with just one man out before Andrew Heck struck out and Chris Grayson lined out to end the game. The winning pitcher in that game, was Nick Palacios. Palacios getting his first win of the season, and the loser was Andrew Wick. Wick fell to 2-1 on the year. The save went to Adam Lopez. Lopez's 6th save of the year. Wild Things coming into this game on a 3-game losing streak, looking to turn things around against the normal Cornbelters. Going to take our first break here on the MSA Sports Network's Washington Wild Things pregame show. When we come back, we're going to take a look at what happened last time these two teams met. Keep it tuned right here to the MSA Sports Network for more coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
Assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, getting you ready for Game 1 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Last time these two teams met, the Wild Things got a series victory, winning 2 out of 3 games against the normal Cornbelters. Game 1 of that series started off going all the Wild Things' way as Trevor Foss took the hill, and he did what really he's been doing all season. Went 9 innings in that game, gave up only 1 run. It was earned on 6 hits, no walks, and 8 strikeouts. That was back on May 31st in Normal, Illinois. The runs for the Wild Things came in courtesy, of an RBI single by Jimmy Yezzo, a 2 RBI double by Dave Popkins, and a solo home run by Grant Fink. The Wild Things would win Game 1 of that series by a score of 4-0. Moving on to Game 2 of that 3-game series. Things did not go the Wild Things' way in this one. They lost this one by the score of 6-1. Connor Kendrick, who's no longer with your Wild Things, got the start, went 5 1/3, gave up 4 runs, 1 earned on 7 hits, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The lone run for the Wild Things coming via an RBI single by Scott Carcasey. Again, Carcasey no longer a member of the Washington Wild Things. For the normal Cornbelters, they got to Connor Kendrick in inning number 4. They were already up by a score of 1-0, but then Mike Fish with 1 out reached on a single, stole second base. Michael Scholar would reach on an error, and Dylan Kelly came through with an RBI single. Fish would score, and that would give Normal a 2-0 lead. Then later in that inning, a sac fly by Aaron Dudley and an RBI double by Elijah Trejo brought in 2 more runs. It was 4-0 Southern Illinois Normal after 4 innings of play. Wild Things would get their lone run, that RBI single in the 5th inning. That would make it 4-1. Normal would then add on in inning number 7 as Dylan Hopp tripled. RJ Peruki no longer on the Cornbelters grounded out. Santiago Chirino hit an RBI double. Nolan Meadows hit an RBI double. 2 more runs would come in, and it would be 6-1 Cornbelters. They would win by that score in Game 2 of the 3-game series. So going into Game 3 of that matchup, it was 1-1, the rubber match of that 3-game series. Chase Cunningham was on the hill for your Wild Things. He was opposed by Max Homick. And on the day, the Wild Things got the better of the Normal Cornbelters. The Cornbelters won that game. So the Cornbelters took 2 out of 3 from your Washington Wild Things. 2 runs came in for the Cornbelters, one via a RBI walk by Aaron Dudley, the other coming in by a solo home run by Ty Morris. So actually last series between these two teams did not go the Wild Things' way, as Normal took 2 out of 3 to defeat the Wild Things. Wild Things looking to return the blow in this series after coming off a 3-game losing streak with the Normal Cornbelters. Wild Things being introduced on the field now. So as they're introduced, we are going to introduce the lineups to you for tonight's game. First, for the visiting Normal Cornbelters. They come in this one with a record of 29-31. They'll lead off with their second baseman, Justin Fletcher, batting second at shortstop. Santiago Chirino hitting third at first base. Aaron Dudley batting fourth. Left fielder Dylan Hopp hitting fifth in right field. Nolan Meadows batting sixth. Designated hitter Craig Lepre batting seventh at third base. Brandon Roberts batting eighth behind the plate. Dylan Kelly, and batting ninth in center field is Ty Morris. On the mound for the Normal Cornbelters is Mike Mike Elwood. Elwood comes into this one with a record of 1-1, a 2.18 ERA. Your Washington Wild Things line up like this. They come into tonight's game with a record of 29-29. They'll lead off with their left fielder, Andrew Heck, batting second, and playing in center field, Chris Grayson hitting third, and playing at third base, Ricky Rodriguez, batting fourth in right field, Dave Popkins, hitting fifth at first base, Logan Uxa, batting sixth and catching, Kyle Pollock, hitting eighth at second base, Jamadric Magruder, batting ninth, designated hitter Zach Fish, eighth Zach Fish, and then batting ninth at shortstop, Austin Wobrock. On the mound for your Wild Things, Matt Fraud in 4-4, a 2.79 ERA. Right now, going to take you down to the field for your national anthem. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Let's join performing tonight's national anthem, Carolee Nelson. Carolee.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Ready for baseball tonight between your Washington Wild Things and the Normal Cornbelters. Game 1 of this 3-game series. The Wild Things aligned defensively like this in the outfield left to right. Andrew Heck, Chris Grayson, and Dave Popkins. Left side of the infield held down by Ricky Rodriguez and Austin Wodrock. Right side by Roderick McGruver and Logan Uxa. Behind the plate is Kyle Pollock. Catching tonight's starter, Matt Frodden. Frodden enters this one with a record of 4-4, a 2.79 ERA, appearing in his 12th game, making his 11th start. Has thrown 64 in the third innings of work, giving up 22 runs, 20 earned on 55 hits, 51 strikeouts, and 24 walks for Frodden on the year. The lineup he'll face for the Normal Cornbelters looks like this. They'll lead off with their second baseman, Justin Fletcher. Batting second at shortstop, Santiago Chirino. Hitting third at first base, Aaron Dudley. Batting fourth in left field, Dylan Hopt. Hitting fifth in right, Nolan Meadows. Batting sixth, designated hitter, Craig Laprie. Batting seventh at third base, Brandon Roberts. In the eighth spot behind the plate, Dylan Kelly. And batting ninth at center field is Ty Morris. On the mound for the Normal Cornbelters is Mike Elwood. Elwood 1-1 with a 2.18 ERA. Matt Frodden has concluded his warm-up tosses, and we are ready for baseball here in Game 1 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Normal Cornbelters. Leading off for the Normal Cornbelters is their second baseman, Justin Fletcher. Fletcher entering this one, hitting .364, no home runs, and 2 RBIs. Fletcher not a part of this Normal Cornbelters team last time these two teams faced. Frodden has his sign. He said, here's the pitch. And that one is just low for a ball, so the first pitch of the game is low. 1 ball, no strikes. Tonight's first pitch thrown at 7:07 p.m. Eastern Time, and the temperature outside 85 degrees. First pitch time and temperature brought to you by State Line Grocery and Hotspot. That next pitch hitting that low inside corner for a strike this time, and the count goes even at 1-1. Frodden, a very good start last time out, a complete game in Game 1 of the doubleheader against River City last Wednesday. The 1-1, this one lined over the head of Magruder into right field for a base hit. So Justin Fletcher gets things started off for the Cornbelters right away. A leadoff single, and there's a man on against Matt Frodden. That'll bring to the plate shortstop Santiago Chirino. Chirino so far in the year hitting .310, 3 home runs, and 22 RBIs. Nobody out top of the first. Game 1 of this 3-game series. Cloudy skies here in Washington, Pennsylvania. There is a threat for rain today. Wild Things in their red alternate jerseys with their home pants. Cornbelters in their black alternate jerseys, yellow lettering, and their road pants. The next pitch, and that one's at the knees for a strike. Frodden gets ahead of Chirino. No balls and a strike. Last time out, Frodden tied a career high with 7 strikeouts against the River City Rascals. Frodden has his sign, checks Fletcher at first, and the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one's in there as well. No balls and 2 strikes. Frodden currently second on this Wild Things team in terms of strikeouts on the year. Frodden has 51 in 64 and a third innings of work. Frodden has his sign. He's set, and the 0-2 pitch. Throw over to first, and getting back is Fletcher. Fletcher in his early Cornbelters career, 2 stolen bases on the year in 10 games played. Leadoff man's reached base for the Normal Cornbelters here in the top of the first. Matt Frodden looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-2 pitch. And this one swung on and grounded foul off to the left, handled over there in the third base coaching box, and the count remains 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, and nobody out top of the first. Leadoff single has the Normal Cornbelters underway here in this one against your Washington Wild Things. Matt Frodden making his 11th start of the year. Frodden has his sign, he's set, and checks first. Here's the 0-2, and this one's fouled away. Count remains, no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on Santiago Chirino, the number 2 hitter in the Cornbelters order. For the Cornbelters on the base paths, coaching at third base is their manager, Brooks Carey, and at first base they alternate between a player over there. Matt Frodden looks in. Frodden has his sign, he's set. Checks Fletcher, here's the pitch. And this ball hit in the center field. Chris Grayson goes back, now running in quickly, and he'll make the running catch for out number 1. Grayson showing off his wheels. Misjudged it at first, but was able to recover and made a very nice catch. Lost his hat on the way into the infield, but there's 1 out in the top of the first, and that brings up the first baseman, Aaron Dudley. Dudley on the year, .341, 13 home runs, and 51 RBIs. Those 13 home runs, good for third on the team. Lots of home runs by these Normal Cornbelters. Justin Fletcher taking his lead from first. Frodden looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Dudley takes this one on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count with Matt Fraud, and again, you want to see him working ahead, just like with all these Wild Things pitchers. When they're ahead, they work a lot more efficient than when they are behind. Fraudin has his sign, checks first, and the 0-1. And Dudley takes this one in the dirt, gets away from Kyle Pollock behind the plate. That will allow Justin Fletcher to move up. So a wild pitch for Matt Fraudin, and there's a runner in scoring position with one man out. 1 ball, 1 strike the count to the number 3 hitter, Aaron Dudley. Dudley over at first base. In the first series against the Washington Wild Things, Dudley actually got ejected from one of those games, played in all 3, but left one of the games early after being ejected. Fraudin has his sign, checks second, the 1-1, and Dudley takes this one in the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 1 man out here in the top of the first. Game 1 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. The Wild Things would love to see Fraud and give him a nice start, as the last 2 starters have not been very good against Southern Illinois. The 1-2, and a swing and a miss. Dudley strikes out, and that is out number 2. First strikeout of the day for Matt Fraudin, and that'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Dylan Hopt. Hopt on the year is currently hitting 271. He's hitting 271, 15 home runs, and 41 RBIs. Hopt is second on this team with his 15 home runs. Not one of the Wild Things has double-digit home runs. There are 3 double-digit home run hitters on this Cornbelters team. Fraudin has his sign. Fletcher takes his lead from second. Fraudin checks him. Here's the pitch. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the cleanup man for the normal Cornbelters, Dylan Hopt. Saw him in all 3 games of the first series between these 2 teams back in late May. Fraudin looks into Pollock. Has his sign, he's set. Checks second, and the 0-1. And that one's in the dirt. Nice scoop behind the plate by Pollock, and the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Pollock very good defensively back there behind the plate. Did allow that wild pitch to get by him in this inning, but has caught 5 straight stolen base attempts behind the plate so far. Matt Fraudin looking in, has his sign, he's set. Checks Fletcher at second, the 1-1. And that one's outside for a ball as well. So Fraudin falling behind Dylan Hopt, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Dylan Hopt, as we said, second on this team with 15 home runs on the season. Hopt's 41 RBIs puts him in third. The leader, Aaron Dudley. Dudley has 51 RBIs. Fraudin set the 2-1, and that one's in there at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count here on Dylan Hopt. Wild Things looking for a bounce-back series. Just got swept by Southern Illinois. You want to come in and perform well against these normal Cornbelters. Record sitting at 500. You do not want to fall below 500 here late in the season. Fraudin has his sign, checks second, and the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one is a called strike 3. Hopt strikes out, and the inning is over. No runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After half an inning, normal Cornbelters nothing. Your Washington Wild Things coming to bat, and there has been an ejection. Dylan Hopt thrown out of this game for arguing balls and strikes. We will be back right here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the first, and the score, normal nothing, and your Washington Wild Things coming to bat. Now, Dylan Hopt has just been ejected from this ball game. Hopt ejected for arguing that 3rd strike. Coming into the game to replace him will be Mitch Elliott. Elliott will be out there in left field. The rest of the alignment for the normal Cornbelters in this one, outfield left to right, you saw Mitch Elliott. Out in center field is Ty Morris, and over in right is Nolan Meadows. Left side of the infield held down by Brandon Roberts and Santiago Chirino. Right side by Justin Fletcher and Aaron Dudley. It'll be Dylan Kelly behind the plate. Catching tonight's starter, Mike Elwood. Elwood so far on the year is 1-1 with a 2.18 ERA. Is appearing in his 6th game, making his 2nd start of the year. He's given up 9 hits, 3 runs, all earned, no walks, and 12 strikeouts in 12 1/3 innings pitched for Elwood. The Wild Things lineup he'll face looks like this. They'll lead off with their left fielder, Andrew Heck. Batting 2nd in center field, Chris Grayson. Hitting 3rd at third base, Ricky Rodriguez. Batting 4th out in right field, Dave Popkins. Hitting 5th at first base, Logan Uxa. Batting 6th behind the plate, Kyle Pollock. Hitting 7th at second base, Jamadric Magruder. Batting 8th, designated hitter Zach Fish. And batting 9th at shortstop is Austin Wobrock. So Mike Elwood finished with his warm-up tosses. Ready for the bottom of the first. 0-0 game here at Consol Energy Park. Game 1 of this 3-game series. And making his way to the plate to lead things off here in this one is the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck on the year is currently hitting a .262 with no home runs and 9 RBIs. Bottom of the first, game 1 of this 3-game series. Umpires for tonight's game, home plate umpire Michael Shields just tossed out starting left fielder Dylan Hopt, and then on the bases is Ron Whitting Sr. Elwood has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Heck takes this first one at the knees for a strike, no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on Heck. Wild Things offense did very good in game 3 of that 3-game series, scoring 10 runs. Like to keep that up. Did very well with runners in scoring position as well, at least in the early part of the game. Next pitch, a called strike on the low outside corner, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes here on Andrew Heck. Elwood has his sign. He's set, and the 0-2 pitch. And Heck takes this one high and in, so the count goes to 1-2. Elwood trying to get Heck to chase, but Heck wisely laying off with a 2-strike count. Mike Elwood, making only his 2nd start of the year, has appeared out of the bullpen a lot for normal, the 1-2, and that one's a breaking ball that breaks outside, and the count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Bottom of the first here at Consol Energy Park between your Washington Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Elwood has his sign. He's set, and the 2-ball, 2-strike pitch. And Heck takes this one low for a ball, so the count goes full 3-2. So after Heck down 0-2 to start this count, to start this at bat, he has fought back to make the count full here. And the on-deck man is Chris Grayson if Heck can reach. Elwood set. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And this one hitting the right center field, giving chase is the center fielder, and he will make the catch. A nice running play there by Ty Morris, and that's out number 1 in the bottom of the first. Morris, positioned straight up the middle, had to run all the way over into the right center field gap and made a very nice running catch for out number 1. That'll bring to the plate the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson on the year hitting .295 with 1 home run and 8 RBIs. Hit a 2-run home run in Sunday's ball game that still might not have landed to this day. It was over the right field wall, over the Wild Things bullpen, over the signage at Rent-One Park. And he is up here in the bottom of the first with 1 out. The pitch, and Grayson takes this one for a strike on the inside corner. No balls and a strike. Grayson's .295 average has him currently good for 3rd on this Wild Things team behind Dave Popkins and Ricky Rodriguez. Elwood looking in, has his side. Here's the 0-1. And a swing and a ground ball off to the right side by the Wild Things dugout. Count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes on Chris Grayson. 1 man out, bottom of the first. Grayson out in center field, as he has been really since his signing. Played 2 games in left field, but has since assumed the center fielder duties. Elwood has his sign, the 0-2. This one grounded up the middle, and that'll be a base hit. Wild Things' first hit of the game here in the bottom of the first, and Chris Grayson keeps it going. He gets into second, and he's called safe. They were lackadaisical out in center field. Ty Morris playing it like it was a routine play, but Chris Grayson hustling out of the box and is able to get into second with a leadoff double. What a hustle play by Chris Grayson. He's in there at second with 1 man out. And that brings up the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez on the year hitting .300 with 5 home runs and 22 RBIs. Center fielder Ty Morris playing it like it's a routine ground ball. And Chris Grayson chugging out of the box gets all the way to second on the routine ground ball. So it's a double with 1 man out. And Rodriguez at the plate. Elwood has his sign. He's set. Checks second and the pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one for a strike at the letters. No balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things third baseman. Rodriguez driving in a run in Sunday's ball game. All but 7 of the Wild Things 9 starters drove in runs in that 12-10 loss. Elwood has his sign. He's set. Checked Grayson at second, the 0-1. And that one's inside for a ball. Count goes even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wild Things trying to get their starting pitcher, Matt Frauden, an early lead here in the first inning. Last time out, Frauden didn't need any run support as he threw 7 shutout innings against the River City Rascals, tying a career high with 7 strikeouts. Elwood has his sign. He's set, checks Grayson at second. Grayson playing mind games in the 1-1. And this ball fouled off of the catcher, Dylan Kelly. Kelly goes down in pain for a little bit, but he'll get up and shake it off. And the count goes to 1-2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Ricky Rodriguez. 1 man out. Chris Grayson, the runner at second. And while Kelly's shaking off that foul ball, the middle infielders will go in to talk to the pitcher, Mike Elwood. Normal Cornbelters trainer coming out to check on Dylan Kelly. Kelly just kind of dismissing him as he's going to shake off this foul ball. Hit him right in the upper thigh, and he says he's ready to go with 1-2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Going to do just a couple of test throws to see how that leg is treating him. It's game 1 of this 3-game series between your Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Wild Things have a runner at second with 1 man out. Chris Grayson, a hustle double after Andrew Heck flew out to start the inning. Kelly says he's good to get back in the game, gets down in his crouch, and we're ready to resume baseball. Ricky Rodriguez making his way to the plate. Chris Grayson standing on second base with 1 man out and a 1-2 count on Rodriguez. Elwood looks in, has his sign, he's set, checks Grayson at second, and the 1-2 strike pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one outside. Count goes to 2-2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Elwood looking for that out pitch, made Andrew Heck work the count back full after getting him down 0-2 strikes. And here had a 1-2 count on Ricky Rodriguez. Tried to get him to chase that breaking ball, and Rodriguez wouldn't bite. Elwood had his sign. He's set, and the 2-2 strike pitch. Grayson jumping around. Here it comes. Rodriguez takes this one for a called strike 3. First strikeout of the game for Mike Elwood, and they're now 2 men out in the bottom of the first with a runner at second, and Dave Popkins coming to the plate. Popkins on the year hitting .297 with 9 home runs and 31 RBIs. 2 men out, bottom of the first. Wild Things leader in both home runs and RBIs at the plate, trying to pick his man up from second base. Mike Elwood looks in. Elwood has his sign from Kelly, checks Grayson on second, and the pitch on the way. And Popkins takes this one inside and low for a ball. 1 no strikes. Now out there at second base, Chris Grayson trying to play some mind games with Mike Elwood and the catcher Dylan Kelly. He's jumping back and forth every time Elwood looks back at him. He kind of showed like he was going to go to third late on that one before going back to second. Just trying to get in the head, and that could be a good tactic. Keep Elwood's mind off of Popkins and on Grayson. Elwood set. Here's the 1 no strike pitch. And Popkins fouls this one back to the screen. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 strike, 2 men out. Popkins started in this year's All-Star game out in Florence, Kentucky. Was a starter out in right field. Went 1 for 4 in that game. Hit a solo home run representing your Washington Wild Things. Elwood looks in, has his sign. He's set, checks Grayson at second, and the 1 strike pitch. And this one swung on a miss, and the count goes to 1-2. 1-2 strikes, 2 men out. Popkins likes to work deep in the counts, likes to look for a pitch he can drive. He was telling me earlier in the season that's why he strikes out and walks as much as he does. Likes to wait for his pitch and drive it when it's available. Elwood has his sign. He's set. Checks second in the 1-2 strike pitch. And this one swung on and missed. Popkins strikes out, and the inning is over. For the Wild Things, no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 1 inning of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, normal Cornbelters nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
We're back here in the top of inning number 2, game 1 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Currently no score as we go into that top of the 2nd inning. Last inning against Matt Frauden, Justin Fletcher singled to start things, would move up to second on a wild pitch. Santiago Chirino would fly out, then Aaron Dudley and Dylan Hopt back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning. Hopt would be ejected after being called out on strikes argued with home plate umpire Michael Shields and was tossed from this game in the top of the first. Due up here in the second, Nolan Meadows, Craig Laprie, and Brandon Roberts, 5, 6, and 7, facing off against Matt Frodden. Frodden was very good in inning number 1, besides giving up that leadoff hit, 2 strikeouts, and a flyout in the inning. Last time out, as we said, tied his career high for strikeouts with 7. He struck out 7 2 other times in his career. So looking to continue his good fortunes here in this one. He threw 7 shutout innings last time, and so far 1 shutout inning here tonight. Stepping in to lead things off here in the top of the second is the right fielder, Nolan Meadows. Meadows on the year is currently hitting .272 with 16 home runs and 45 RBIs. Nobody out here in the top of the second. Frodden has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's called a strike at the knees. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. That's where we like to see Frodden out in front and confident in his pitches. He has very good stuff if he attacks the strike zones. In his second year with the Washington Wild Things, had a 3-2 record last year, 4-4 in this season. Next pitch is fouled away back towards the press box, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on the right fielder, Nolan Meadows. Matt Frodden, as we said, has had a good start last time out. 7 shutout innings, turned in his best start of 2016. Looking to build on that here tonight. Frodden has his sign. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And this one lined foul back into the seats, so the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Frodden did not start the year in the Wild Things 5-man rotation. He was actually a late addition, as the Wild Things only needed 4 starters to start the season. Frodden's season debut came out of the bullpen, but now a regular member of this rotation, making his 11th start tonight. The 0-2, and that one's outside for a ball. Can't get Meadows to chase, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Nobody out here in the top of the second. Game 1 against the normal Cornbelters here at Consol Energy Park. Wild Things looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. Frodden has his sign. Here's the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one grounded to the left side. Uxa, a nice backhanded play. Flips to Frodden covering, and it's in time for out number 1. A nice play by Uxa, showing his range at first base, being able to get to that ball in the backhand and throw to Frodden covering for out number 1. That brings to the plate the designated hitter, Craig Laprie. Laprie on the season is currently hitting .371, 1 home run, and 13 RBIs. Actually the backup catcher to Dylan Kelly, but tonight in that designated hitter's role for the normal Cornbelters. 1 man out in the top of the second. Frodden has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. And that one's in there at the knees for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Craig Laprie, DH for the normal Cornbelters. 1 man out top of the second, no score. Frodden has his sign. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that one's outside and low for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Talking to Frodden after last start, was really confident in his slider and his fastball. Both were working very well for him against River City. As his sign, he's set. Here's the 1-1. And that one's low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count here on Craig Laprie. 1 man out top of the second, as Nolan Meadows grounded out to start this inning. Defensively for the Wild Things, Jamadric Magruder playing a little out in shallow right field, also shifted towards first base. Frodden has his sign. Here's the 2-1, and this one lined on the left field line. It's hooking and will go foul, so the count will go even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 1 man out. Right-handed pitcher Matt Frodden facing off against the lefty Craig Laprie. Top of the second, no score between your Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Matt Frodden looking in against Laprie. Frodden has his sign. He's set. Here's the 2-2. And this ball lined into right field, and that will get down and down the line towards the corner. Laprie around first, heading to second. Popkins grabs it in the corner. His throw in will keep Laprie at second with a double. So it's a 1-out double. Second hit of the day for normal, and it's the second time they've had a runner in scoring position, this time with 1 man out, and that'll bring up their third baseman, Brandon Roberts. Roberts on the year is currently hitting .250 with no home runs and 1 RBI, playing in his 4th game with the normal Cornbelters. 1 out here in the top of the second. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Cornbelters do have a runner at second, however, with 1 man out in this one. Matt Frodden looks in, has his sign. He's set, checks second, and the pitch. Roberts shows bunt, but takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Brandon Roberts. Roberts was, again, not part of the normal Cornbelters last time the Wild Things played the Cornbelters in late May. Frodden looking in, has his sign, he's set, checks second, and the 1-ball, no-strike pitch. That one's swung on a miss, and the count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 man out, top of the second. No runs, 2 hits for the Cornbelters. No runs, 1 hit for your Washington Wild Things. Matt Frodden, a product of Gardner-Webb University, in his second year with the Wild Things on the mound. Frodden has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And this ball popped up on the right side, foul territory. Pollock giving chase, but he'll watch this one land in the first row of seats behind the Wild Things dugout, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 1 man out in this inning. Nolan Meadows grounded out to start things. Then the double down the right field line by Craig Laprie. He stands on second, and Brian Roberts, the third baseman, at the plate. 1 man out, top of the second. Roberts stepping back in after that foul ball. Frodden looks into Kyle Pollock. Frodden has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch after a check to second. Here it comes. And that one is just outside for a ball. Count goes even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Thought he was going to get rung up there by Michael Shields, but to no avail. Frodden will have to do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Frodden has his sign, he's set. Checks second, and the 2-2. And swing and a foul tip as it'll go back to the cage, and staying alive is Roberts. Runner at second is Craig Laprie. He doubled with 1 man out down the right field line. Brandon Roberts at the plate here against Matt Frodden. 1 man out, top of the second. Wild Things trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Frodden has his sign. He's set, checks second, and the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one grounded right in front of the mound. Now Wolbrock will charge. He'll barehand, throw to first. Is in time to get him. A nice play there by Austin Wolbrock on the slow ground ball. Charging in, able to make the play and get the ball to first before Roberts was able to reach. Meanwhile, moving up on the play, Craig Laprie will get to third. That'll bring to the plate the catcher, Dylan Kelly. Kelly on the year hitting .321, 2 home runs, and 19 RBIs. 2 outs, top of the second. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the Normal Cornbelters. Normal, however, does have a runner at third with 2 men out. So Kelly will need to come through with a hit if they're going to score that first run of the ball game. Frodden looking in to Kyle Pollock. Has his sign. He's set. Checks third. And the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Dylan Kelly. Kelly behind the plate for the Cornbelters. The everyday catcher for Normal. As Craig Laprie, the backup catcher, is the designated hitter tonight. He's the one standing on third base. Frodden has his sign. Checks third. And the 1-0. And a check swing by Kelly. Did he go around? Yes, says Ron Whitting Sr., and that'll be the first strike. Count goes even at 1-1. Kyle Pollock appealing to the base umpire, and it turns out it'll work out for the Wild Things as they get the strike called. The out count is even at 1. 2 men out, top of the second. Runner at third for Normal. Frodden has his sign. He's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count on Dylan Kelly. 2 men out. Frodden trying to get through this second inning of work, keeping this game tied at 0. There's a runner at third with 2 men out. Dylan Kelly digging back in. Frodden looks into Pollock, has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball, 1 strike pitch. And this one lined into left field. Andrew Heck not having to move very far. He will make the catch, and that is out number 3. No runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 1.5 the score, Normal Cornbelters nothing, your Washington Wild Things nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School, lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the second, and the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, and the Normal Cornbelters nothing. Last inning for your Washington Wild Things, Andrew Heck flew out to start things, And then Chris Grayson would double before Ricky Rodriguez and Dave Popkins struck out to end the inning. Due up here in the bottom of the second is Logan Uxa, Kyle Pollock, and Jamadrick Magruder. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Wild Things against Mike Elwood. Now coming up, the Wild Things are going on a 10-game road trip. They won't be back until August 9th. And if on August 5th and 6th, you're looking for something to do around the Washington area, head down to Waynesburg University and the Goodwin Performing Arts Center August 5th and 6th. They'll be putting on their summer play, the production of The Curious Savage by John Patrick. The play will be presented August 5th and 6th at 7:30 p.m. in the Goodwin Performing Arts Center, and is the story of a wealthy widow who wants to use her wealth to do good while her grown stepchildren want it for themselves and have her committed to a sanitarium. At the sanitarium, Miss Savage meets several residents who are dealing with their own emotional scars, and through their interactions, Miss Savage gives the residents new hope, and they give her a new appreciation for the human spirit. Again, that play being put on August 5th and 6th at Waynesburg University in the Goodwin Performing Arts Center. So go check it out. It's a great cast. They're working very hard on the show. I was there last night with the cast, and it is a fun show to watch. It's very funny. Go out and enjoy a nice piece of theater. Mike Elwood looking in, has his sign. Here's the first pitch. And Logan Uxa, the new batter, takes it for a strike at the letters. No balls and a strike. Uxa on the year is currently hitting .267, 4 home runs, and 12 RBIs. Elwood has his sign. Here's the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And Uxa takes this one inside for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Elwood doing just as good as Matt Fraud in that first inning, each only allowing a hit and each striking out 2 batters in the inning. Elwood has his sign, the 1-1, and a swing and a miss there by Uxa, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Logan Uxa, 2 weeks ago, named the Frontier League Week 9 Player of the Week, stepping in, trying to regain the award here in Week 11. The pitch, and that one swung on and missed. Uxa strikes out. That's out number 1 here in the bottom of the second. Third straight strikeout for Mike Elwood, and that'll bring to the plate the catcher Kyle Pollock. Pollock so far in the year hitting .268, 1 home run, and 8 RBIs. 1 man out, bottom of the second. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Pollock currently good for 4th on the team with his .268 average. Elwood has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Pollock takes this one high above the letters for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Pollock drove in 3 runs against the Southern Illinois Miners in Sunday's 12-10 loss. Looking to keep his offensive production going here against Normal. The 1 ball, no strike pitch. And Pollock, a slow ground ball to shortstop, broke his bat on the play. Fielded by Sherino, throw over to first. And that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the second. And on his way to the plate is the second baseman, Jamadrick Magruder. Magruder so far hitting .257, 1 home run, and 4 RBIs, playing in his 11th game for the Wild Things. 2 outs, bottom of the second. No score between your Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Magruder was in the leadoff spot last week, this week being moved down to the number 7 spot in the order. Elwood has his sign, the pitch, and that one swung on and missed by Magruder. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count of the Wild Things second baseman. Wild Things 2 up, 2 down here in this inning, as Magruder looks to make some 2-out magic happen. Magruder was hitting in the number 2 spot in Game 2 of the series against Southern Illinois. Tonight in the number 7 spot for the first time of the year. The 0-1, and that one's on the inside corner for a strike as well. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2, 2 men out. Magruder trying to get something going. Coaching on the bases for your Wild Things. At third base, manager Greg Langban, and at first base, hitting coach Mike Marshall. The 0-2, and this ball popped up. Shallow left field. Going out is Roberts, and coming in is the left fielder Elliott, and Elliott will make the catch for out number 3. 1-2-3 go your Wild Things here in the second. And after 2 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, normal Cornbelters nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
So he is
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the third, and the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, and the normal Cornbelters nothing. Last inning for the Cornbelters, Nolan Meadows would ground out to start things, then Craig Lapre doubled, Brandon Roberts grounded out, and Dylan Kelly flew out to end the inning. Due up here in the third against Matt Frodden, Ty Morris, Justin Fletcher, and Santiago Chirino, 9-1 and 2, facing off against Matt Frodden. Now, last time out, we talked about it, Frodden delivered his best start of the 2016 season, went 7 shutout innings in what would be a complete game one of the doubleheader with River City last Wednesday. Gave up only 3 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. The win improved his record to 4-4 on the season, and currently has him tied for third on the team with a 2.79 ERA. Him and Devin Davis coming into this one, both of their ERAs sit at 2.79 behind Trevor Foss and Zach Groats for the team lead. Stepping in to lead things off here on the top of the third is the center fielder Ty Morris. Morris on the season is currently hitting .289 with 2 home runs and 9 RBIs. Nobody out here in the top of the third. No score between the Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Frodden trying to keep normal off the board here in this one. Frodden looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch, and Morris takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the number 9 hitter. Ty Morris was in center field for the first series between these two teams. Frodden's 0-1, and this one hit down the right field line and deep, and this will get down and bounce over the wall. It'll be a ground rule double for Ty Morris to lead off the game. Third straight inning that the Cornbelters have had a runner in scoring position. Second time they've had a runner in scoring position with nobody out, and that'll bring up the leadoff man, Justin Fletcher. Fletcher on the day, 1 for 1. He singled and moved up on a wild pitch in his last at-bat. Runner at second with nobody out for the normal Cornbelters. Top of the third, no score between these two teams. Frodden looking in to his catcher, Kyle Pollock. Frodden has his sign. He's set and checks second. The pitch on the way. Getting a bunt down is Scholar. Frodden comes off the mound to field it. Flips to Uxa at first, and that's in time for out number 1. A sacrifice bunt, 1-3 on the putout. And there's one away here in the top of the third. That'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Santiago Chirino. Chirino 0 for 1 so far in this contest. Runner at third, 1 man out, no score between your Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Normal played the Lake Erie Crushers on Sunday, won by a score of 6-4. And in that game, Chirino ended up going 2 for 4 with a walk and a strikeout. The pitch, and that was a called strike at the knees, no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count, 2 strikeouts so far in this one for Matt Frodden. Would love to get another one here with 1 out in the top of the third. Hopefully strand that runner at third base. Frodden has his sign, the 0-1, and this one grounded softly foul off to the left. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on Santiago Chirino. 1 man out in the top of this third inning. But there's a runner at third that Matt Frodden trying to strand over there. Frodden looking in to Kyle Pollock. Frodden has his sign. He's set. And the no-ball 2-strike pitch. Swinging a foul ball off to the right. That'll go back into the seats. And the count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2, 1 man out here in the top of the third. A double by Ty Morris started things out. He would move up on the sacrifice bunt by Justin Fletcher. Matt Frodden looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the no-ball 2-strike pitch. And this one fouled off back into the seats. Count remains 0-2. 2 straight foul balls here by Santiago Chirino. The second hitter in this normal Cornbelters order out there at shortstop made the play that would end, made the second out in the top or the bottom of the second inning. Frodden looking in to Kyle Pollock. Frodden has his sign. He's set, checks third, and the no-ball 2-strike pitch. And that one's inside for a ball. Count goes to 1-2. Chirino backs off the plate after that inside pitch by Frodden. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Matt Frodden looking for a good start here. The last 2 starts for the Wild Things, neither starter has gone 5 innings, and each has given up 6 runs. Frodden has his sign. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and a slow roller back to the mound. Frodden looks the runner back to third. He'll stay there, throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 2. A big out number 2 there for Matt Frodden as Ty Morris had to stay at third base. and that'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Aaron Dudley. Smart play there by Matt Fraud to not immediately go to first base. He looked back, made sure Ty Morris was going to stay there at third, and once he knew for sure Morris was going to stay, he fired over to first for that second out. Aaron Dudley on the day 0 for 1 with a strikeout so far, and in Sunday's game went 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. Frauden has his sign, the pitch, and Dudley a line drive to left field. Andrew Heck giving chase, and he will get over there and make the catch for out number 3. No runs in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 2.5, the score. Normal Cornbelters nothing. Your Washington Wild Things nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass is installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the third, and the score, your Washington Wild Things nothing, and the Normal Cornbelters nothing. Last inning for the Wild Things, they would go 1-2-3 in the inning. Logan Uxa struck out to start things, then Kyle Pollock grounded out, and Jamadrick Magruder would fly out to end the inning. Due up here in the third, Zach Fish, Austin Wobrock, and Andrew Heck, 8-9-1 against Mike Elwood. Now for Elwood, his last time on the mound was also last Wednesday against the Schaumburg Boomers. Went 5 1/3 innings pitched in that one, gave up 2 runs, both earned on 6 hits, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. Would pick up a loss in the contest, making his record fall to 1-1, and his ERA sitting at 2.18, but has been very good out of the Normal Cornbelters bullpen this season, making only his second start. His first start was last time out. Zach Fish making his way to the plate. Fish has played in 1 game for the Wild Things so far this season. Went 0 for 3 against the Southern Illinois Miners, game 1 of that series. Came to the Wild Things from the Chicago White Sox organization, where in 3 years he hit .234 with 18 home runs and 74 RBIs. Playing in his second game as a Wild Thing today. He's the designated hitter tonight, also the backup catcher for the Wild Things. Elwood's pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Zach Fish. Fish did reach base 1 time in his last game as he walked against Southern Illinois. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 1-0. And Fish takes this one for a strike of the letters. 1 ball, 1 strike. Was watching him the first day he was signed by the Wild Things here at Consol Energy Park in batting practice, and he was putting on a show, hitting rockets over the left field wall. So this guy does have a lot of power. The 1 ball, 1 strike pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. See if he can show it here in the game. And I mean, pitch after pitch was crushed over that left field wall. So Zach Fish trying in his second game to get his first Wild Things hit. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 2-1. And Fish takes this one for a called strike 3 on the low inside corner. And that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the third. That's strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sorry, got the count a little confused. 2-2 here. Nobody out, bottom of the third. Elwood set. Here's the 2-2. And this one popped up. Out to shallow center. Ty Morris coming in. And Morris will make the catch. That's out number 1. So 1 pitch later, Fish is retired, and there's 1 away here in the bottom of the third. That'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wobrock so far in the year hitting .209, 1 home run, and 13 RBIs. 1 out here in the bottom of the third. No score between your Washington Wild Things and the Normal Cornbelters. Elwood 3 strikeouts through 2 1/3 innings pitched against your Wild Things. Elwood has his side. He's set, and the pitch on the way to Wobrock. A swing and a miss, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Zach Fish flying out to start the inning here against Mike Elwood and the Normal Cornbelters. Elwood has his sign. He's set. And the no ball, 1 strike pitch. And Wobrock grounded to short. Chirino charging. He has it. Throw on to first. And that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the third. And that'll bring up the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck so far in the day is 0 for 1. And in that game Sunday against the Southern Illinois Miners, Heck would end up going 2 for 4. 2 singles, walked, was hit by a pitch, struck out, and grounded out in the game. 2 men out here in the bottom of the third. No score between your Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Only 1 hit for the Wild Things so far. That courtesy of Chris Grayson. Elwood has his sign. He's set. And the pitch to Heck. And that one's in there on the inside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Andrew Heck. 2 men out, bottom of the third. Grayson owns the lone hit. The last, 6 Wild Things have been retired. The 0-1, and that one's low for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Actually, the last 7 Wild Things have been retired since Chris Grayson. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 men out, bottom of the third. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And Heck takes this one low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Andrew Heck in his 4th year with the Washington Wild Things, a Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native. So the veteran on this Wild Things team. Elwood set. Here's the 2-1. And this one lined into left field. Coming on is Elliott. He's not going to make the catch. And it's a 2-out single for Andrew Heck. Heck, second hit of the ball game for your Washington Wild Things. They have a runner at first, 2 men out. And that'll bring to the plate the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far 1 for 1 with a double. The offensive star of the night Sunday against the Southern Illinois Miners. Against the Miners, he would go 4 for 6 at a 2-run home run, singled 3 times, also popped out and lined out in the contest. 2 men out, bottom of the third, 2 up, 2 down in this third inning for your Washington Wild Things. Mike Elwood looking in. Heck takes his lead from first. Elwood has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. And that one's in there at the knees for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Chris Grayson. 2 men out, bottom of the third. For Andrew Heck at first base. Heck currently tied for the team lead with Grayson. Each have 5 stolen bases on the year. Elwood has his sign, checks first, and the 0-1. And Grayson takes this one inside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dylan Kelly was going to throw a snap throw down to first. However, he lost the ball as he was throwing to first. So Heck able to get back in there easily. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 men out. Cloudy skies here at Consol Energy Park. No rain to this point, but there is a threat in the forecast. Elwood has his sign, the 1-1, and that one's high for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Wild Things got lucky weather-wise in Southern Illinois. There was a chance of rain every single day, but fortunately for the Wild Things, it did not rain, and they were able to get all 3 games in. Elwood has his sign. He's set and throw over to first, and Andrew Heck gets back in there. Heck, as we said, 5 stolen bases on the year, is tied for the team lead. 2 balls and a strike, 2 men out. Actually, 4 stolen bases on the year for Heck. He's tied for second on the team. Elwood's 2-1. Heck taking off for second. Pitch is called the ball, the throw down, and Heck is in there with his 5th stolen base of the year. Now Heck tied for the team lead with 5 stolen bases, tied with Wobrock and Chris Grayson. He's in there at second. It's a 2 ball, 2 strike count with a runner at second and 2 men out for Chris Grayson. See if Grayson can end up picking up his center fielder. Andrew Heck, the runner at second. Mike Elwood looking in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 men out. Elwood has his sign from Dylan Kelly. He's set. Checks Andrew Heck at second, and the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And Grayson a ground ball up the middle. Diving try, and he can't get it. Heck around third. He's going to score, and the Wild Things will take a 1-0 lead. RBI single by Chris Grayson, his 9th, and it's 1-0 Wild Things here in the bottom of the third. Chris Grayson getting the ground ball up the middle and past the diving second baseman, Justin Fletcher. It went into center field. It's Grayson's 9th RBI, and that will bring to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez 0 for 1 with a strikeout. 1-0 Wild Things here in the bottom of the third with 2 men out. Chris Grayson at first. Elwood has his sign. He's set. Checks in. Here's the pitch. Grayson taking off for second. Pitch swung on and missed the throw. And Grayson is caught stealing for the final out of the inning. But the Wild Things do get a run in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. After 3 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 1, normal Cornbelters nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the fourth, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 1 and the Normal Cornbelters nothing. Last inning for the Normal Cornbelters, Ty Morris doubled to start things off, then a sacrifice bunt by Justin Fletcher moved him up to third. Santiago Chirino grounded out, and Aaron Dudley flew out to end the inning. Due up here in the fourth, Mitch Elliott, Nolan Meadows, and Craig Laprie, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for the Normal Cornbelters. Matt Frodden so far in this one, just giving up 3 hits, no runs. He's allowed a man on base in every inning to this point, men in scoring position in every inning, but he's been able to strand them there and has kept the Wild Things in the game. Wild Things rewarded him with a lead in the bottom half of the third inning. Frodden will look to keep that lead here in the top of the fourth against the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Now, the number 4 hitter in this game now is Mitch Elliott. It was Dylan Hopt, but Hopt called out on strikes in his last at-bat and was ejected for arguing those balls and strikes. Mitch Elliott came in to replace him in left field, and Mitch Elliott, his first at-bat of the night on the year. Elliott is currently hitting .229 with 1 home run and 3 RBIs. Nobody out here in the top of the fourth as Matt Frodden is ready for action here in this fourth inning. 3 shutout innings to this point. Frodden has his sign. He's setting the pitch. And showing bunt is Elliott, but he'll take this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. 1-0 Wild Things lead here in the top of inning number 4. Right-handed pitcher Frodden against the right-handed batter Elliott. Frodden has his sign. Here's the 1-0. And this one fouled back to the screen. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on Mitch Elliott. Elliott, again, as we said, entered the game after the starting left fielder, Dylan Hopt, was ejected for arguing balls and strikes. Matt Frodden has his sign. He's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. This one fouled off down the right field line, hits off the Wild Things dugout, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Frodden working ahead again here in the third inning. 2 strikeouts on the day. Both of those strikeouts coming in inning number 1. Tied a career high last time with 7 strikeouts. Frodden has his sign. He's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one swung on and missed. Mitch Elliott strikes out, and there is 1 away here in the top of the fourth. Third strikeout on the day for Matt Frodden, and that'll bring to the plate the right fielder, Nolan Meadows. Meadows so far 0 for 1, grounded out in inning number 2. 1 man out here in the top of the fourth. 1-0 Washington Wild Things lead, and Meadows to the plate. Wild Things trying to avoid going under 500 tonight. They are 29-29 on the season entering tonight's ball game. Frodden has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. And that one swung on a miss. Count goes to 0-1. No balls and 1 strike here on Nolan Meadows. Meadows out in right field. In Sunday's game, Meadows would end up going 1 for 4 with a run scored in the game. 1 man out, top of the fourth. 1-0 Wild Things lead. Frodden has his sign, and the 0-1 pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nolan Meadows, the right fielder for the Normal Cornbelters. As Meadows was in the first 3-game series between these two teams and was out there in right field as well. Frodden has his sign, the 1-1, and Meadows pops this one up. Shallow right field, Popkins going out, Magruder coming in. Magruder calls for it, and he makes the catch. That is out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the fourth, and that'll bring to the plate the designated hitter, Craig Laprie. Laprie's doubled his first time and was stranded at third base. Laprie in Sunday's game was the catcher and went 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Now, the way the Cornbelters run their catchers here, whoever is the starting catcher catches, and whoever is the backup will DH, as that was the case on Sunday. Dylan Kelly, the designated hitter, and Craig Laprie catching in that game. So they like to use both their catchers in the lineup, as both of them have very good offensive numbers. The pitch, and that one's low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 count. Laprie, as we said, hitting .371 on the season, but Dylan Kelly not too shabby either. He's hitting .321. Frodden has his sign, the 1-0, And that one's in there for a strike at the knees. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 men out here in the top of the 4th. Game 1 of this 3-game series here at Consol Energy Park. Frodden facing off against Craig Laprie. Frodden has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 2-1. 2 balls and a strike, 2 men out, top of the 4th. No runs, 3 hits for the Cornbelters. 1 run, 3 hits for your Washington Wild Things. Frodden has his sign, the 2-1, and this one grounded to the right side and just foul past the first base bag. Rolls to the Wild Things bullpen, and the count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count here on Craig Laprie. 2 outs, top of the 4th. 1-0 Wild Things lead after the RBI single by Chris Grayson last inning. 2 men out, top of the 4th. Frodden looking in. Has his sign, he's set. And the 2-2 pitch. And this one grounded to the left side. Austin Wobrock will handle it. Throw on to first. A pick by Uxa at first base. But the throw is in time, and that is out number 3. 1-2-3 go the Cornbelters here in the 4th. And after 3.5, the score, your Washington Wild Things 1 and the normal Cornbelters nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 4th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 1 and the normal Cornbelters nothing. Wild Things got their run in last inning as Zach Fish flew out to start things, and Austin Wobrock grounded out. Andrew Heck then came through with a 2-out single, stole second, and then Chris Grayson came through with an RBI single. Heck would score, and the Wild Things took a 1-0 lead. Ricky Rodriguez would come to the plate, but Chris Grayson was caught stealing to end that 3rd inning. Due up here in the 4th, Ricky Rodriguez, Dave Popkins, and Logan Uxa, 3, 4, and 5, facing off against Mike Elwood. And Elwood has been just a little bit worse than Matt Frodden, only giving up 3 hits on the day, the double by Chris Grayson, and then the back-to-back 2-out singles in last inning that resulted in a run. But so far, he's been pretty good. 3 strikeouts through 3 innings of work. Has not walked a batter, and has been pretty efficient against your Washington Wild Things. Ricky Rodriguez making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th. Rodriguez 0 for 1 with a strikeout, and then in Sunday's game, Rodriguez ended up going 3 for 4 with an RBI single, a double, another single, a hit by pitch, and a ground out in the game. Facing off against Mike Elwood here in the top of the 4th, as we said, came to the plate in the bottom of the 3rd. Before Grayson was caught stealing the pitch. And this one grounded to 3rd, handled by Roberts. Roberts will throw across the diamond to 1st, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the 4th, and that brings up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout. In Sunday's ball game, Popkins would end up going 2 for 4, doubled twice, drove in 3 runs, was hit by a pitch, grounded into a double play, and also flew out in that ball game. Mike Elwood looks in. Elwood has his sign. He's set, and the pitch coming. That one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on Dave Popkins, the cleanup man for your Washington Wild Things out in right field. Elwood has his sign, and the 1 ball, no strike pitch. And Popkins takes that one for a strike on the outside corner. Count goes even at 1-1. So Elwood working the outer half of the plate here against Popkins. First pitch way outside, and then the last pitch got that inside corner, the 1-1. And this ball hit the center field and deep. Going back is Morris to the track, to the wall, and exits center stage. Dave Popkins, a solo home run, and the Wild Things now take a 2-0 lead. Popkins' 10th home run of the year, and when you need an attorney to hit one out of the park for you, yo, Keith. That home run brought to you by Keith Owen Campbell, attorney at law. Dave Popkins to dead center field over the 405 sign, and your Wild Things now have a 2-0 lead over the normal Cornbelters with Logan Uxa coming to the plate. Uxa so far is 0 for 1 in this one. In Sunday's ball game, Uxa would go 2 for 5, 2 singles, a flyout, a strikeout, and a ground out. First pitch is fouled off by Uxa, and the count goes to 0-1. Dave Popkins' team-leading 10th home run of the year, the first Wild Thing to hit double-digit home runs this season. Elwood looks in, has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And Uxa takes this one high for a ball, 1 strike, and that ball is absolutely crushed by Dave Popkins way over the center field wall. It's 405 to dead center here at Consol Energy Park, and Popkins cleared that one by a good 5 feet. Uxa takes this next pitch inside for a ball, 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. 2-0 Washington Wild Things lead over the normal Cornbelters. Here in the bottom of the fourth have scored solo runs in each of the last 2 innings. Elwood has his sign. He's set in the 2-ball, 1-strike pitch. Uxa takes this one low for a ball, and the count goes to 3-1. 3 balls and 1 strike. Wild Things actually a lot better on the road than they are at home, despite being swept by Southern Illinois. They're 14-12 on the road as compared to 15-17 here at Consol Energy Park. Elwood's 3-1. This one lined down the right field line, and that'll go foul. And the count goes full to 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 man out. A 2-0 Wild Things lead. As the Wild Things scoring here for Matt Fraud, and Fraud so far through 4 innings is dealing on the mound. Has just given up 3 hits on the day. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 3-2. And Uxa pops this one up foul back into the seat, so lives to fight another day as the count will remain full 3-2. Kyle Pollock is the on-deck batter for your Wild Things. 1 man out here in the bottom of the fourth. Popkins a run in on his 10th home run of the season. Here's Elwood's 3-2, and this ball hit the center field and deep. Morris back to the track, and he'll make the catch in front of the wall for out number 2. Almost the second home run of the inning, but unfortunately Uxa flies out deep to the center field track, and that'll bring up the catcher Kyle Pollock. Pollock so far is 0 for 1, grounded out in his first at-bat. Was behind the plate on Sunday and ended up going 1 for 2 with a single, 2 sac flies, and a fielder's choice. Drove in 3 runs in the ball game. Elwood has his sign, the pitch, and Pollock hits this one to center field. Ty Morris not having to move for this one, and he will make the catch, and that is out number 3. But the Wild Things do get another run in the inning on the solo home run by Dave Popkins. Just that 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. After 4 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 2, normal Cornbelters nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whip Peel playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 5th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the normal Cornbelters nothing. Wild Things getting their 2nd run of the game on a solo home run. Dave Popkins' 10th home run of the season, as it gave the Wild Things a 2-0 lead as he hit it to dead center field over the 405 sign. Easily went 415 after that home run. The last inning for the normal Cornbelters, they went 1-2-3 in the inning. Mitch Elliott struck out, Nolan Meadows popped out, and Craig LaPree grounded out to end the inning. Now due up here in the top of the 5th, Brandon Roberts, Dylan Kelly, and Ty Morris, 7, 8, and 9, facing off against Matt Frauden. Frauden so far 4 shutout innings, has retired the last 5 normal Cornbelters he has faced, and Frauden so far has been very good in this ball game, striking out 2 men in the contest. Got to face 7, 8, and 9 here in the 5th inning, looking to keep his run rolling, as with his last start, he has now thrown 11 straight scoreless innings in his last 2 starts. So coming to the plate to lead things off here in the top of the 5th, third baseman Brandon Roberts. Roberts on the day, 0 for 1, grounded out in this one as he makes his way to the plate. And in Sunday's ball game against the Lake Erie Crushers, Brandon Roberts would end up going 0 for 4 in that game with a strikeout. Frodden has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Roberts takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the normal Cornbelters third baseman. Flew out to left field in his last at-bat. Frodden looking in. Here's the 1 ball, no strike pitch. And that one a check swing. He did go around, says home plate umpire Mike Shields, and the count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Top of the 5th, 2-0 your Wild Things lead. Frodden has his sign, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. That one's inside for a ball. Count goes to 2-1. 2 balls and a strike here on Brandon Roberts. Roberts, the number 7 hitter, was actually robbed of a hit as Austin Wobrock made a very nice play on his last at-bat, charging and barehanding the slow roller and throwing to first in time. The 2-1, and this ball hit to center field. Chris Grayson coming in on the run, and he's not going to be able to make the catch on this one. Misjudged it off the bat. It's a single for Brandon Roberts, and there's a leadoff man on here in the 5th inning. That is the 3rd time tonight in 5 innings of play that Normal has gotten the leadoff man on. Grayson out there in center took a step back initially and then picked up the ball and ran in and just did not get there in time. With these cloudy skies we were talking about, it can be hard to judge the baseball. Sun is trying to peek out over the clouds here beyond the right field bleachers at Consol Energy Park. That brings to the plate the catcher Dylan Kelly. Kelly so far 0 for 1 against Matt Frodden. Frodden has his sign. He's set, checks first, and the pitch on the way. And that one is just off the outside corner for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. On Sunday, Dylan Kelly was the designated hitter, and Kelly would go 2 for 4 in that game with a strikeout against the Lake Erie Crushers. Normal winning that game by a score of 6-4. Matt Frodden has his sign. He's set, and the 1-0. This ball lined into left field, and that'll get down for a base hit down the line. Andrew Heck cutting it off, trying to get to third is Roberts. The throw, and it just missed him. Roberts just sneaking in front of the tag of third baseman Ricky Rodriguez. It's a double for Dylan Kelly, and there are runners at second and third for Normal with nobody out. That brings to the plate the center fielder Ty Morris. And that was a strong throw by Andrew Heck. Roberts just able to sneak his hand in there past the tag of Ricky Rodriguez at third base. And with man on second and third, that brings up the number 9 hitter, Ty Morris. Morris so far on the day is 1 for 1, doubled in his first at-bat, and did play on Sunday, was a pinch hitter, went 0 for 2 with a run scored. Also struck out in the game. Time is called here as they're making sure the Wild Things are ready defensively. Now Frodden steps back on the hill. Runner at third, Brandon Roberts. Runner at second is Dylan Kelly with nobody out in this top of the 5th. Frodden has his sign. He's set, and the pitch. That one swung on a miss by Morris. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Normal center fielder. Out there, had to watch Popkins' home run go over his head. Made actually 2 outs in that 4th inning. Saw the home run go over his head. Then Uxa almost hit a home run to center field. And then a routine fly ball by Kyle Pollock. So Morris seeing a lot of action in the bottom of that 4th inning. Now second and third, nobody out. Frodden has his sign, checks third in the 0-1. And that one's in the dirt for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Back-to-back hits to start the inning. See if Frodden can strand those runners at second and third and keep Normal off the scoreboard. If he got a strikeout here, be a long way to helping him do that. He has 3 strikeouts on the day through 4 innings of work. Frodden has his sign, checks third, and the 1-1. And this ball lined foul into the seats in left, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count, nobody out. Pretty decent crowd here at Consol Energy Park. About halfway full here on this $2 Tuesday at Consol Energy Park. Matt Frodden looking in to the number 9 hitter, Ty Morris. Frodden has his sign. He's set. Checks Roberts at third, the 1-2. And that one's just low for a ball. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 with nobody out, top of the 5th. Brandon Roberts singled to start things. Then Dylan Kelly doubled. Kelly is at second base. Frodden looking in. Has his sign. He's set. Checks third. And the 2-2. And this ball popped up again in foul territory, and that'll get to the seats. And the count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ty Morris fighting here against Matt Frodden. Frodden trying to strike him out with runners in scoring position. You'd like to see a strikeout or a ground ball to third. If you can't get that, more than likely the runner is coming in. So if Fraud can get a strikeout, go a long way to keeping the Cornbelters off the board. Frauden looks into Kyle Pollock. Has his sign, he's set. Checks third and the 2-2. That one's outside, nicely blocked in the dirt there by Kyle Pollock, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count, nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Wild Things leading 2-0 over the normal Cornbelters. Matt Frauden looks into Pollock. Big situation here. Frauden has his sign, check at first, and the 3-2. Swinging a pop-up on the infield. Coming in to get it's Austin Wobrock. Now Magruder calling, and Magruder will make the catch for out number 1. Runners have to stay right where they are. Big out number 1 there for Matt Frauden, and that brings to the plate the second baseman, Justin Fletcher. Fletcher so far 1 for 1, singled in the first, and hit a sacrifice bunt in inning number 3. Runners are still at second and third with 1 man out. That was just what Matt Frauden needed, a pop-up on the infield. Austin Wobrock initially called it, but it was on the second base side of the infield. So once Jamadric Magruder picked it up, he was able to run in and make the play easier than Wobrock could have. So there was one out here in the top of the 5th. Runners still at second and third, and Fletcher at the plate. Now Frauden's got 1. He's got to get 2 more to keep Normal off the board. Frauden looking in to Kyle Pollock. And wants to go through the signs again. Frauden talked to him after his last start. Likes to work quickly in games. Gets his sign, gets the ball, and throws it. Has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Justin Fletcher. The 3rd time in this ball game that Normal has had a runner at third base and less than 2 outs. And they have not been able to score him today. Frauden has his sign. He's set, checks third, and the 1-0. That one's high for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count here to Justin Fletcher. Brandon Roberts, the runner at third. He singled to lead off this inning. And then Dylan Kelly followed that up with a double of his own. He's standing on second base. Frauden looks into Pollock, has his sign, checks third, and the 2-0. And Fletcher, a fly ball to left center field. Chris Grayson flowing over there. He'll make the catch, tagging and scoring will be Brandon Roberts. So a run comes in. The first run given up by Matt Frauden in 11 innings of work, and now it is 2-1 as Normal gets their first run of the game. Sac fly RBI there for Justin Fletcher. There are now 2 outs in the top of the 5th and a runner at third as Dylan Kelly moving up to third on the play, and that'll bring up the shortstop Santiago Chirino. Chirino so far 0 for 2. Flew out in the first and grounded out in inning number 3. A sac fly there. Not the best result for Frauden, but he'll take it with his team still up by 1. Here's the pitch. And this one's fouled off by Chirino. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. 2-1 the score now between your Wild Things and the Normal Cornbelters. Sac fly RBI there for Justin Fletcher. For Fletcher, that's his 3rd RBI of the season. Frauden has his sign. Checks Kelly at third. The pitch. And that one's inside and gets Chirino. So hit by pitch, and there will be a runner at first and third with 2 men out. Chirino hit by a pitch, and that'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Aaron Dudley. Dudley so far 0 for 2, struck out in the first, and flew out in inning number 3. Top of the 5th, 2 men out, a run in on the sacrifice fly by Justin Fletcher, and the Wild Things lead this one 2-1 over the Normal Cornbelters. Aaron Dudley, though, currently leads the Cornbelters in RBIs, had 51 RBIs on the season. Frauden looking into Kyle Pollock. Has his sign. He's set. Checks the runner at third. And the pitch. And that one swung on and missed by Dudley. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Aaron Dudley, the RBI leader for the Cornbelters. Dylan Kelly standing on third. He doubled with nobody out. And Santiago Chirino hit by a pitch. Chirino over there at first. For Chirino at first base. Currently has 4 stolen bases on the season. Frauden's pitch. And it's fouled off the knee of Kyle Pollock. He'll shake it off, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on Aaron Dudley. 2 men out from Consol Energy Park in the top of the 5th. Again, a shift for Aaron Dudley of sorts. Austin Wobrock moved a little bit to his left, playing about 5 inches off of the second base bag and back where you would as a shortstop. And Jamadric Magruder out in shallow right, defending against the ground ball to the right side. The 0-2, and that one's just outside for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Frauden couldn't get Dudley to chase. Tried to get him to go outside of the zone for that breaking ball, but Dudley lays off, and the count remains 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Frodden looks into Pollock. They're going through their signs. Frodden has one he likes. He's set. And the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this ball popped up in foul territory off to the left. Count remains 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 2 men out. We said Brooks Carey, the manager over there in the third base coaching box. And right now coaching at first base is Francisco Carrillo, a relief pitcher for the Normal Cornbelters. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Frodden looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1-2 to Dudley. And this ball hit the center field. Chris Grayson going back to the track, to the wall. He leaps, and he made the catch. What a catch by Chris Grayson, robbing Aaron Dudley of a double. He went back, leaped up, banged against the wall, and made an incredible catch to end the inning. Just 1 run coming in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 4.5 to score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the Normal Cornbelters 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, heading into the bottom of the 5th in the score. Your Washington Wild Things 2 and the Normal Cornbelters 1. Chris Grayson just making a great play off the center field wall. Aaron Dudley crushed the ball off the bat. I thought it was out of here and Normal was going to take the lead, but Grayson running back on it. The ball died mid-flight and was going to hit off the center part of that center field wall. However, Chris Grayson running over there, leaping up, making the catch, and then banging against the wall and able to hold on to the ball for the 3rd out of the inning. A great play by Chris Grayson to help save Matt Frodden and the Wild Things. Due up here in the 5th for the Wild Things is Jamadrick Magruder, Zach Fish, and Austin Wobrock. 7, 8, and 9. Wild Things getting their 2nd run of the game last inning as Dave Popkins hit his 10th home run of the year after a Ricky Rodriguez ground out. Then Logan Uxa nearly hit his 5th, but unfortunately his ball died at the track, and then Kyle Pollock flew out to end the inning. Jamadrick Magruder making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the bottom of the 5th. Magruder so far 0 for 1, flew out in inning number 2. Magruder did not play Sunday against the Southern Illinois Miners. Elliott has his sign, the pitch, and that one's on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Jamadrick Magruder. Nobody out. Bottom of the 5th. A run came in for the Cornbelters in the top half of the inning. It's 2-1 Wild Things. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And a swing and a miss there by Magruder, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Magruder, a hot start to his Wild Things career, has got his first hit and his first at-bat, and his first RBI came 2 at-bats later. Currently has 4 for the Wild Things. The 0-2, and that one's high and outside for a ball. Magruder wisely laying off, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Was signed 2 days before the All-Star break as the Wild Things were taking on the Schaumburg Boomers. The 1-2 pitch, and this one lined in the left field line. It's hooking and will go foul. So the count remains 1-2, hitting over near the Normal Cornbelters bullpen. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. 2-1 Wild Things leading over the Normal Cornbelters. Elwood has his sign, he's set, and the 1-2 pitch. And Magruder takes this one inside for a ball. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, bottom of the 5th. Wild Things leading 2-1, looking to snap their 3-game losing streak. Elwood has his sign, he's set, and the 2-2 pitch. And Magruder to right field and deep. This ball's hooking, and it will go foul. Nearly his 2nd home run of the year, unfortunately hooking foul, and he'll have to do it again as the count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. Magruder at the plate. Elwood has his sign, and now time is called as Magruder stepping back in there. Now Elwood has his sign. He's set, and the 2-2. And Magruder takes this one for a called strike 3, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. For Elwood, it's his 4th strikeout of the day, and that brings up the designated hitter, Zach Fish. Fish so far 0 for 1. Did not play in Sunday's ball game. Did play against Southern Illinois in Game 1 of that 3-game series. Would go 0 for 3 with a walk in that one. Now, a roster move for your Wild Things today. They signed infielder Ryan Willard. Willard from Smithsburg, Maryland. Played at North Carolina State University earlier this season. So the Wild Things add Willard, the pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Willard not getting the start in this one. Currently on the bench for the Wild Things and available if needed later in this game. 1 ball, no strikes. The count here to Zach Fish. Elwood looking in, has his sign, and the 1-0. And Fish fouls this one back to the cement wall behind home plate, and the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Fish, a product of the Chicago White Sox organization, played in single-A and rookie ball. Combined, played 3 seasons in the White Sox organization, hit .234 with 18 home runs and 74 RBIs, joining the Wild Things last week as Alex McKeon went on the 60-day DL. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And Fish takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on Zach Fish. Fish in his 2nd game with the Washington Wild Things. Caught Game 1 against the Southern Illinois Miners on Friday. Here's the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one fouled off back to the screen. Count will remain 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out. 2 runs on 4 hits for your Wild Things. 1 run on 5 hits for the normal Cornbelters. Zach Fish still looking for his first Wild Things hit. Hoping to get it here in this at-bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Elwood has his sign, the pitch, and that one's a called strike 3. Zach Fish strikes out, and back-to-back strikeouts here to start this bottom of the 5th. Fish not happy about it, but he'll walk back to the dugout as Austin Walbrock stepping in. 2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Walbrock so far 0 for 1 with a ground out. 5 strikeouts for Mike Elwood through 4 2/3 innings of work. And besides that home run and the two back-to-back 2-out singles, he's been very good today. Elwood has his sign, the pitch, and Walbrock fouls this one off back into the seats. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the number 9 hitter in the Wild Things order. Walbrock in his 2nd year with the Washington Wild Things did play on Sunday, and in the game would go 0 for 4 with a walk, 2 strikeouts, a ground out, and a fly out. The 0-1, and Walbrock hits this one down the left field line and deep. Unfortunately, this one will hook and go foul off of the party pavilion over here down the left field line. The count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count here on Austin Walbrock. 2 men out, Game 1 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And Walbrock takes this one low for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Walbrock not chasing below the knees. We've seen a couple times this season Austin Walbrock go for that pitch, but wisely laying off here with a 0-2 count, 2 men out. Now the count 1-2. Here's the pitch. And Walbrock takes this one inside. Nearly got him. And the count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 2 men out, bottom of the 5th. 2-1 the score. Your Washington Wild Things leading the normal Cornbelters here at Consol Energy Park. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And time is called as Austin Walbrock thought Elwood was taking too long. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Number 9 hitter in the Wild Things order. Elwood's 2-2 on the way. And this ball grounded to short. Chirino charging. He has it. Fires on to first. And that's in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 go the Wild Things here in the 5th. And after 5 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the normal Cornbelters 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 6th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the Normal Cornbelters 1. Normal getting their first run in the game last inning as Brandon Roberts singled to start things. Then Dylan Kelly doubled as Brandon Roberts almost thrown out at third base. Roberts able to sneak in. There are runners at second and third, nobody out. Ty Morris would then pop out, and Justin Fletcher hit a sacrifice fly, driving in Brandon Roberts. That made the score 2-1. Then Santiago Sereno was hit by a pitch, and Aaron Dudley would fly out. A great play made by Chris Grayson to end that inning. A jumping catch at the center field wall. Rob Dudley of a 2 RBI double, and it kept the Wild Things in front 2-1. Due up here in the 6th inning is Mitch Elliott, Nolan Meadows, and Craig Laprie. 4, 5, and 6 against Matt Frodden. And Frodden, so far so good, just the 1 run. It was earned on 5 hits through 5 innings of work. Has struck out 3 in the ball game and has not walked a batter through 5 innings. Stepping in to lead things off is the left fielder Mitch Elliott. Elliott so far 0 for 1 with a strikeout, and this one came in after Dylan Hoft was ejected in the top of the first for arguing balls and strikes. Elliott played on Sunday and went 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Matt Frodden looking in. Frodden has his sign and the pitch, and that one's high and in for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Mitch Elliott. Elliott did not start this game. Dylan Hoft ejected in the top of the first, and Elliott came in to replace him. Frodden has his sign, the 1-0. And Elliott, a ground ball right back to the mound, now handled by Magruder at second. His throw to first is just in time to get Mitch Elliott running down the line. And it's a 4-3 put out, one right through the legs of Matt Frodden. Magruder able to charge in and get the ball and fire to first for out number 1. Nolan Meadows now stepping in, the right fielder. Meadows so far 0 for 2, grounded out in the second and popped out in inning number 4. 1 out, top of 6, 2-1. Your Wild Things leading over the Normal Cornbelters, and Nolan Meadows at the plate. Matt Frodden looking in. Frodden has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. That one's high for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Nolan Meadows. Meadows out in right field, standing in at 6 foot 190 from San Pedro, California. Played for the Roswell Invaders a year ago. Frodden set. Here's the 1-0. And that one swung on a miss there by Meadows. The count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. 1 man out here from Consol Energy Park. Wild Things looking to improve their home record. 15-17 at home to this point in the 2016 season. Frodden looking in, has his sign, the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch, and that one swung on and missed. That one went in the dirt and got away from Pollock, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Frodden working on the breaking ball there was very good and got Meadows to swing and miss. Count 1-2. Frodden working ahead. He does have 2 balls to play with. Frodden has his sign and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one's outside, blocked in the dirt by Pollock. This time, Meadows not going after it, and the count goes to 2-2. Frodden came into tonight second on the team with 51 strikeouts behind Trevor Foss. Foss has 66. Foss, the starter on Thursday night in Game 3 of this series. Frodden looking in, has his sign, and time is called behind home plate, as Meadows thought Frodden was taking just a little too long. Frodden has his sign now, and the 2-2 on the way. And Meadows takes this one outside, so the count will go full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. Craig Laprie, the on-deck hitter for the Normal Cornbelters. 2-1 Wild Things lead here in the top of the 6th. Frodden has his sign. He's set. Here's the 3-2. And this one grounded to the right side. Uxa has it. He'll flip to Frodden covering, and that's in time for out number 2. 1-3 on the putout. 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the 6th. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Craig Laprie. Laprie so far is 1 for 2, doubled in the second, and grounded out in inning number 4. 2 men out here in the top of the 6th. Laprie at the plate. Laprie, as we said, the backup catcher for Normal. Whoever's not catching is usually the designated hitter, as shown this season. Laprie and Dylan Kelly splitting time at DH, both hitting over 300, as Dylan Kelly hitting 321 and Craig Laprie hitting 371 coming into the night. Frodden has his sign. He's set the pitch, and Laprie takes this one for a strike at the knees. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Normal DH. In there hitting in the number 6 spot. Frodden set. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that one's in there as well, so Frodden jumping ahead here. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Frodden so far 3 strikeouts through 5 2/3 innings. Had 7 in his last appearance, which tied a career high. Frodden looking in to Kyle Pollock. Has his sign. He's set. And the no ball 2-strike pitch. As time is called behind the plate, as Lepre wants to fix his batting gloves and step back in. 0-2, 2 men out here for Consol Energy Park. Top of the 6th, 2-1, Wild Things lead. Frodden looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the no ball 2-strike pitch. And this one swung and fouled away off to the left. That'll get into the stands, and the count will remain 0-2 here to Craig Lepre. No balls, 2 strikes, and 2 men out. Matt Frodden, the right-hander on the mound, making his 11th start of the year, won a complete game against the River City Rascals. 7-inning complete game, as it was a doubleheader, but still a complete game shutout, striking out 7 and walking 2 in that contest. The 0-2, this ball popped up, foul territory off to the left, but that will get into the seats as well, so the count will remain no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2, 2 men out. Matt Frodden looking to get through this 6th inning of work. No action in either bullpen to this point, as both starters have pitched very well. A low-scoring game. We're locked in a pitcher's duel here at Consol Energy Park. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Frodden has his sign. He's set. And the 0-2 pitch. And this ball inside. Lepre having to jump out of the way of that one, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 6th, 2-1 Wild Things lead here at Consol Energy Park. Only home for 3 before they go on a big 10-game road trip where they'll go to Florence, Evansville, and River City. Frodden has his sign. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and this ball grounded to first. Uksa, nice running play, flipped to Frodden, but the throw pulls him off of the bag. A great effort there by Logan Uksa. We'll see if they give an error. I don't think they will, as they have not given one on the scoreboard to this point. Lepre reaches with 2 outs. Uksa ranging a long way to his right, and then doing a backhanded flip to Matt Frodden covering. Unfortunately, the throw pulled Frodden off the bag. They will give Lepre an infield hit. As a great effort by Logan Uksa. The throw just happened to pull Frodden off the bag. That brings to the plate the third baseman, Brandon Roberts. Roberts 1 for 2. Frodden has his sign. Here's the pitch. And this one's off the inside corner for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. 6th hit given up on the day by Matt Frodden. 1 run on 6 hits for the Cornbelters. 2 runs on 4 hits for your Washington Wild Things. The Wild Things leading in the category that matters, and that's the run column. Here's the 1-0, and that one's high for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Wild Things actually led in hits in Sunday's ball game. They had 15 hits in the contest, but lost by the score of 12-10 to the Southern Illinois Miners, looking for a bounce-back game tonight. And so far, so good, as they're leading 2-1 here in the top of the 6th. Frodden looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 2-0. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner. Count going to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. As we said, the Wild Things taking on the Frontier League West Division. Right now would be a time to feast on this West Division. Their next 4 series, including this one, against teams lower than 3rd place in the Frontier League West. That one called low for a ball. 3 balls and a strike, taking on Normal today. Then they'll go to the Florence Freedom. Then they actually go to Evansville. So 2 straight series with teams below 3rd place. Evansville up in 2nd in the Frontier League West. And then they'll go to River City. River City sits in 5th in the Frontier League West. Frodden's 3-1. And that one is a called strike. Count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Roberts was thinking he was going down to first base, but he will have to step back in with a full count. Dylan Kelly, the on-deck batter for the Normal Cornbelters. 2 men out here in the top of the 6th. Runner at first, Nolan Meadows, after his infield single. There is action in the Wild Things bullpen as Colin Stanley is warming up out there. Frodden has his sign, and the 3-2. Taking off for second is Lepre, and this ball is fouled off, and the count will remain 3 balls and 2 strikes. With 2 outs and a 3-2 count, Lepre was going over there at first base. But on the season for Craig Lepre, he has 1 stolen base in 21 games played. So not a threat to run unless you're 3-2, 2 men out, where everyone takes off. Frodden has his sign. He's set. The 3-2 runner in motion, and that one's a called strike three. Brandon Roberts strikes out, and that will end the inning. Fourth strikeout on the day for Frodden. No runs in the inning on one hit, no errors, and one man left on base. After 5.5, the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the normal Cornbelters 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 6th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the normal Cornbelters 1. Last inning for the Wild Things, they went 1-2-3. Jamadrick Magruder struck out to start things, then Zach Fish struck out, and Austin Wobrock grounded out to end the inning. Due up here in the 6th, 1-2-3, Andrew Heck, Chris Grayson, and Ricky Rodriguez facing off against Mike Elwood, and Elwood has been just one tick worse than Matt Frodden on the day. Through 5 innings, he's given up 2 runs, both earned on 4 hits, not walking a man, and striking out 5 on the day. So he's in here in the 6th inning. Mike Elwood is in there for his 6th inning of work. So far, just the 4 hits, as we have said. Wild Things, however, leading in the run column, a 2-run solo home run by Dave Popkins. Popkins' 10th home run of the year, and then an RBI single by Chris Grayson has helped the Wild Things take this 2-1 lead. The run for the Cornbelters coming, in the top of the 5th on a sacrifice fly by Justin Fletcher. Nobody out, bottom of the 6th, 2-1. The score between your Wild Things and the Cornbelters. Wild Things leading. Andrew Heck will make his way to the plate. Heck so far on the day, 1 for 2. Flew out and singled and scored a run in the 3rd inning in this ball game. Bottom of the 6th, 2-1. Wild Things leading over the Cornbelters. Elwood has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. That one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Andrew Heck. Frodden so far, 6 innings of work, but as we said, Colin Stanley was warming up in the bullpen for the Wild Things, still up there, so we'll see if he comes in for the 7th. Here's the 1-0, and that one is a called strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Count even here on Andrew Heck. Nobody out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Wild Things leading 2-1. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 1-1. Heck showing bunt, but will take this one inside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count here on Andrew Heck. Nobody out, bottom of the 6th. Heck in that leadoff spot, starting his 4th straight game in left field. Left field had been a revolving door, but Andrew Heck tried to take a stronghold on the position. The 2-1, and this one grounded to short. Chirino will field it. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the 6th, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far is 2 for 2, doubled in the 1st, and an RBI single in inning number 3. 2-1 Wild Things lead. Grayson driving in one of the 2 runs for your Wild Things today, as we said, was 4 for 6 in Sunday's ball game. So in his last 2 ball games, he's 6 for 8 in Game 3 against Southern Illinois, and now Game 1 against the normal Cornbelters. 1 man out, bottom of the 6th. Elwood has his sign. He's set, and the pitch. And Grayson takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things center fielder. Chris Grayson joining the Wild Things a week before the All-Star break back in Joliet, playing in his 15th game for the team. The pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count here on Chris Grayson. Mike Elwood being very careful with the Wild Things center fielder. No action in that normal Cornbelters bullpen just yet. Elwood has his sign. He's set, and the 2-0. And Grayson pops this one up. Foul territory off to the left, giving chase is Roberts, but he'll watch this one fall behind the normal dugout, and the count goes to 2-1. 2 balls and a strike here on Chris Grayson. That one falling in the 2nd row behind the normal dugout. 2 balls and a strike. 1 man out here on Chris Grayson. Grayson hitting the number 2 spot. His 3rd straight game hitting in that 2 spot. Mike Elwood looks in. To his catcher, Dylan Kelly. Elwood has his sign. He's set. And the 2-ball, 1-strike pitch. And Grayson takes this one low in the dirt. Skids past the catcher, Dylan Kelly. And the count goes to 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 the count here on Grayson. Trying to get a man on with 1 man out for the Wild Things. Looking for some insurance runs, as they only lead 2-1. You can never have too many runs in a ball game, as the Wild Things learned on Sunday. The 3-1, and this ball hit the right center field, drifting over is Ty Morris. He'll make the catch, and that's out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things. Grayson getting a hold of that one. Unfortunately, drives it just short of the track, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 0 for 2, struck out looking in the first, and grounded out in inning number 4. 2 men out, bottom of the 6th, 2-1. Your Wild Things leading over the normal Cornbelters. Ricky Rodriguez standing in there at 6 foot 215 from Los Angeles, California. A member of the Amarillo Thunderheads a year ago. The pitch, and that one's on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Rodriguez. 2 men out, bottom of the 6th, 2-1. Wild Things lead over the Cornbelters. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And check swing by Rodriguez. He went around, says Michael Shields, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Mike Elwood on the mound has retired the last 7 Wild Things. Elwood has his sign, and the no ball, 2-strike pitch on the way to Rodriguez. And that one's outside for a ball. Rodriguez wisely laying off, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out, 2-1. Wild Things lead over the normal Cornbelters. Mike Elwood looks in, has his sign, and the 1-2 pitch. And this one fouled off back into the stands, hits off the ceiling here at Consol Energy Park, and the count remains 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Game 2 of this 3-game series can be heard right here on the MSA Sports Network tomorrow night at 7:05. Also, you can get tickets at www.washingtonwildthings.com or call the box office at 866-456-WILD. 1-2 pitch, and that one's high and outside for a ball. Count goes even at 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Mike Elwood trying to get through this 6th inning of work. Colin Stanley ready out in the Wild Things bullpen. Will more than likely come in here in the 7th inning. Elwood has his sign. He's set. And the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one's a called strike 3. Ricky Rodriguez strikes out. And the inning is over. 1-2-3 go the Wild Things here in the 6th. And after 6 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the normal Cornbelters 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 7th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2 and the normal Cornbelters 1. New pitcher for the Washington Wild Things, as coming on is right-hander Colin Stanley. Stanley enters with a record of 3-1, 1 save on the season, has a 3.21 ERA, appearing in his 21st game, has thrown 28 innings of work, giving up 11 runs, 10 earned on 24 hits, 22 strikeouts, and 10 walks on the season. Final line for your starter, Matt Frauden. Frauden goes 6, gives up 1 run. It was earned on 6 hits, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. Frauden doing very good very well on the day. Went a complete 7 innings against River City last night, goes 6 innings in tonight's game, and currently leads with the lead. So he is the pitcher of record for the Wild Things in this one. Leading things off here in the top of the 7th is the catcher, Dylan Kelly. Kelly so far 1 for 2. It'll be Kelly, Ty Morris, and Justin Fletcher, 8, 9, and 1, facing off against Stanley. Stanley looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. That one's inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Stanley falling behind the first man he faces here in the top of the 7th. Stanley used in the middle relief role mostly for the Washington Wild Things this season. Right-hander on the mound has done very well. His 1 save came after he pitched 3 innings in a game the Wild Things won. The 1-0, and that one's outside for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count here on the catcher, Dylan Kelly. Matt Frauden ends his night just giving up 1 run in 6 innings of work. Now turning over to this Wild Things bullpen, which has been very good on the season. Stanley has his sign, the 2-0. This one ground to the right side. Uxa handles it. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that's in time for out number 1. So Stanley retiring the first man he faced out of the bullpen, and there's 1 out here in the top of the 7th. That'll bring to the plate the center fielder, Ty Morris. Morris so far 1 for 2, doubled in the 3rd, and popped out in inning number 5. Stanley's last time on the mound was against the Southern Illinois Miners. Game 2 of that 3-game series came in to relieve, game 1 of that 3-game series came in to relieve Chase Cunningham, gave up 1 run over 2 2/3 innings of work against Southern Illinois. Ty Morris to the plate, the number 9 hitter in the Cornbelters order. Stanley has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. And this one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the normal Cornbelters center fielder. 1 man out, top of the 7th, 2-1. Your Washington Wild Things lead. Colin Stanley newly inserted into the ball game. Stanley has his sign, he's set, and the 1-0. This ball fouled back to the cement brick behind home plate, and the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Behind home plate, you have the typical net there that stretches from dugout to dugout, and then you have a cement barrier holding up that screen, and that's what that foul ball hit off of. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 man out, top of the 7th, 2-1, Wild Things lead. Stanley looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. This one hit the center field, over to right center. Grayson goes over, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Cornbelters. Nice running catch there by Chris Grayson. Seen a lot of action out there in center field tonight, and that'll bring to the plate the second baseman, Justin Fletcher. Fletcher so far is 1 for 1, singled in the 1st, hit a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd, and a sacrifice fly in inning number 5. 2 men out here in the top of the 7th. 2-1, Wild Things lead. Stanley looking for a 1-2-3 inning out of the bullpen. Still no action out there in the normal Cornbelters bullpen. Stanley has his sign, the pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Justin Fletcher. Is Colin Stanley into the game with 2 men out. Stanley has his sign and the 0-1 pitch. And that one's a called strike, so the count goes to 0-2. Stanley getting ahead of the first man he faces here in the top of inning number 7. Stanley looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. The ball gets away from Pollock, however. He gathers it, and he's not going to have time to throw to first. So it's a strikeout. However, a wild pitch, a pass ball allows Fletcher to reach. There's a runner at first, 2 men out, and that'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Santiago Chirino. For Colin Stanley, that's his 23rd strikeout of the season. Unfortunately, making it to first base is Justin Fletcher. There's a runner at first, 2 outs, and Chirino coming to the plate. 2 men out here in the top of the 7th, a man on. Stanley looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And that one is outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Santiago Chirino. Chirino hitting in the number 2 spot in the order for the normal Cornbelters. Colin Stanley looking in, checks first, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, no strike pitch. And that one's in there for a strike as well. Count goes to 1-1. 1 ball and a strike, 2 men out here in the top of the 7th. As Santiago Chirino at the plate, Colin Stanley struck out Justin Fletcher. However, he reached first on a pass ball. Stanley has his sign, he's set, and the 1-1. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike, so Stanley getting ahead here in this at-bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Taking a look around the league here. So far, Evansville defeating Joliet 2-0. Your Wild Things leading 2-1. Scoreless between the Crushers and the River City Rascals in Game 2 of that doubleheader. As Stanley setting the pitch. The pitch is outside. Throw down to second is going is Fletcher, and he is not in time. Fletcher picks up the stolen base. That is the first man in 6 tries that has stolen a base against Kyle Pollock, and a string of 5 straight caught stealings. And for Fletcher on the year, that is stolen base number 3 on the season. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Sherino at the plate. Stanley has his sign, and the 2-2. And checks his swing, but he does not go around on that one as Pollock diving out of the zone to get that one. The count goes full to 3-2. On deck batters, the first baseman Aaron Dudley. Calling Stanley in to relieve the starter Matt Frodden in this one. Stanley looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 3-ball, 2-strike pitch. After a check to second, here it comes. And this ball lined up the middle, that's a base hit. They're going to wave the runner to the plate, and Chris Grayson boots it. The runner will score. Fletcher comes around. It's an RBI single for Santiago Sherino, and the Normal Cornbelters have tied this game. It's now 2-2 here in the top of the 7th. RBI single by Sherino. For Sherino, that is RBI number 23 on the year, and this ball game is tied here in the top of the 7th. That brings to the plate the first baseman Aaron Dudley. Dudley so far 0 for 3, a strikeout and 2 flyouts on the night. Normal ties this game here with your Wild Things in the top of the 7th. It's 2-2. Stanley has his sign in the pitch, and that one's low and inside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Normal Cornbelters first baseman. Leads the team in RBI. Santiago Sherino coming through with an RBI single that ties this game at 2. Stanley has his sign. He's set, and the 1 ball, no strike pitch. That one's in there for a strike, and the count goes even to 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Aaron Dudley. 2 men out in the top of this 7th, but a run in on the RBI single by Sherino. That takes Frodden off the hook. It'll be a no decision for Frodden here tonight. Stanley has his sign, the 1-1, and that one's a called strike at the knees. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Aaron Dudley. 2 men out, top of the 7th. 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the Cornbelters. Cornbelters getting a run here in this inning. Stanley looks in, has his sign, he's set. Checks the runner at first, and the 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss, and that is out number 3. Second strikeout of the inning for Stanley. However, the Cornbelters do get a run in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 6.5 innings of play, the score, your Wild Things 2, Normal Cornbelters 2. 7th inning stretch, you're listening to Wild Things Baseball on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 7th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2, Normal Cornbelters 2. Normal tying the game in the top of inning number 7. An RBI single by Santiago Sherino drove in Justin Fletcher for their second run of the ball game. Last inning, Wild Things went 1-2-3. Andrew Heck grounded out, Chris Grayson flew out, and Ricky Rodriguez struck out. Mike Elwood back out there for a 7th inning of work, and Dave Popkins coming to the plate. Popkins so far 1 for 2, struck out, and hit his 10th home run of the season on the day. That 10th home run gave the Wild Things a 2-1 lead. Elwood has his sign, he's set, and the pitch coming to Popkins. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things right fielder. Action in the Wild Things bullpen as Devin Davis warms out there. Also action in the bullpen for Normal as Brendan Smith warms up. The 0-1 and a check swing. That one is low for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Dave Popkins. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Brendan Smith warming up in the bullpen for the Normal Cornbelters. The 1 ball, 1 strike pitch, and this one grounded to shortstop. Chirino will handle it. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the 7th. And right now, Mike Elwood is rolling as he has retired, 9 straight Wild Things. This is his first career start against the Wild Things. Has never faced Washington. His first year in the Frontier League for for Mike Elwood. As now coming to the plate is Logan Uxa, the number 5 hitter. Elwood standing in at 6'5", 190 pounds from McKinney, Texas, pitched at Canisius College earlier this year. Elwood has his sign. Here's the pitch to Uxa, and that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count to the Wild Things first baseman. 1 man out, bottom of the 7th. 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the Normal Cornbelters. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 0-1, and that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here to the Wild Things first baseman. Logan Uxa getting the start out there. His 3rd straight start at first base after Jimmy Yezzo gave him a night off Friday night. The 1-1, and that one swung on a miss. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Logan Uxa, hitting number 5 in the order, has 4 home runs and 12 RBIs on the season. Elwood has his sign. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Uxa strikes out, and that is out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things in the 7th, and that'll bring on the catcher, Kyle Pollock. Pollock so far 0 for 2, grounded out in the 2nd and flew out in inning number 4. 2 men out here in the bottom of the 7th. 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the Normal Cornbelters. 2 runs, 7 hits for the Cornbelters. 2 runs, 4 hits for your Wild Things. Elwood has his sign, the pitch, and Pollock takes this one for a strike on the inside corner. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things catcher, primary catcher for the Wild Things. Got a day off on Friday night. Before that, caught 2.5 straight weeks for the Wild Things. The 0-1 from Elwood, and a check swing by Pollock. Did he go around? No, says Ron Whitting Sr. out there on the bases, and the count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 men out here in game 1 of a 3-game series between your Wild Things and the Normal Cornbelters. Elwood looking in to his catcher, Kelly, has his sign. Here's the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner. Count goes to 1-2. Kyle Pollock kind of bending his back in disbelief on that one. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 2 men out. Elwood has his sign and the pitch on the way. And this one grounded right back to the mound. Elwood handles it himself. He'll flip on the first, and that's in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 go the Wild Things here in the 7th. And after 7 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 2, Normal Cornbelters 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 8th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 2, Normal Cornbelters 2. Now on to pitch the 8th inning for your Washington Wild Things is left-hander Devin Davis. Davis with a record of 1-1, 2 saves on the year, a 2.79 ERA, appearing in his 25th game, has thrown 29 innings of work, giving up 9 runs, all earned on 24 hits, 9 walks, and 32 strikeouts. Those 32 strikeouts currently good for 4th on the Washington Wild Things team. Final line for reliever Colin Stanley. Stanley goes an inning of work. He gave up a run on 1 hit, no walks, and 1 strikeout. Stanley actually had the side retired 1-2-3, but a pass ball for Kyle Pollock got back to the wall. The runner reached on the strikeout. That runner was Justin Fletcher, and then Santiago Chirino, the RBI single, drove in Fletcher to tie this game at 2. Due up here in the 8th, Mitch Elliott, Nolan Meadows, Craig Laprie, 4, 5, and 6, facing off against the lefty, Devin Davis. Mitch Elliott making his way to the plate so far, Elliott so far is 0 for 2, struck out and grounded out in this game. Pinch hit, or came into the game for Dylan Hopp. Hopp got ejected in the top of the first for arguing balls and strikes, and right now it looks like Kyle Pollock needs a new glove, as his glove broke on the field. Going to get a new glove from the dugout. He's got one, and now he's heading back to home plate, ready to catch this inning. Kyle Pollock, the main catcher for the Washington Wild Things, in there catching his starting pitcher, Devin Davis. Davis has been very good this season, 2.79 ERA, tied for third lowest on the team with today's starter, Matt Frauden. Frauden came in with a 2.79 ERA, and Devin Davis now with his 2.79 ERA on the line. The pitch, and Elliott takes this first one low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. With Davis, works fast, gets the ball, throws it, and pounds the strike zone. Can throw hard, gets a lot of strikeouts. Here's the 1 ball, no strike pitch, and this one fouled off back into the seats. Count goes to 1-1. On the year for Davis, 32 strikeouts in 29 innings of work, so a very good strikeout to innings pitched ratio. Davis has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 1 strike offering. And that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 2-1. 2 balls and a strike here on Mitch Elliott. Nobody out in the top of the 8th. 2-2 the score between your Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Davis is 2-1, and this one's fouled away back into the seats, so the count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last season, Devin Davis pitched in the Chicago White Sox organization, as he pitched in pitched in Double-A for the Chicago White Sox from Mountain Brook, Alabama. Stands in at 6'3", 235. Davis has his sign, the 2-2, and this one grounded to the left side, past a diving Wobrock into left field for a base hit. So a leadoff single for Mitch Elliott here in inning number 8, and that'll bring to the plate the right fielder Nolan Meadows. Meadows so far 0 for 3, grounded out in the 2nd, popped out in the 4th, and grounded out in inning number 6. So Mitch Elliott reaching to lead off the inning for the normal Cornbelters. It's the 3rd time that's happened in this game through 8 innings of work. They had the leadoff man reach to start the game, and then the leadoff man reached in inning number 3. Now leadoff man reaching in the top of inning number 8. Nolan Meadows at the plate. Runner at first is Mitch Elliott taking his lead. Devin Davis looks into Pollock. Davis looking in, has his sign, he's set, checks Elliott first, and the pitch. And this ball lined into right field, that's a base hit. Back-to-back singles, Mitch Elliott making the turn and heading for 3rd. The throw from Popkins is not going to be in time. Back-to-back singles to start the inning, and there are runners at 1st and 3rd with nobody out. That'll bring to the plate the designated hitter, Craig Laprie. Laprie, so far on the day, is 2 for 3, a double, a single, and also a ground out. Runners at 1st and 3rd. Devin Davis, normally very good, is going to have to bear down and get some strikeouts here to avoid the normal Cornbelters taking the lead. 2-2 here in the top of the 8th. Normal tied the game in the top of the 7th off of reliever Colin Stanley. Now Devin Davis into the game here in the 8th. Davis has his sign. Here's the pitch. And this ball grounded to 1st. Uxa has it. Looks the runner back to 3rd. Throws to 2nd. Gets the out there. And there's no play at 1st. Smart play there by Logan Uxa. Fielder's choice. 3-6 on the putout. Nolan Meadows is thrown out at 2nd. There's still the runner at 3rd. 1st and 3rd now with 1 out. As that'll bring to the plate the 3rd baseman, Brandon Roberts. Roberts so far 1 for 3, grounded out in the 2nd, singled and scored in the 5th, and struck out in inning number 6. Logan Uxa smartly taking that ground ball and making sure that Mitch Elliott at 3rd was not going to break for the plate. Got the out at 2nd to cut the middle runner down. And Craig Laprie able to beat the throw to first. Davis has his sign. Here's the pitch, and that one's in there for a strike. No balls and a strike. Wobrock also hesitating at second to make sure that Mitch Elliott would not move up to third. Brennan Smith continues to throw in the normal Cornbelters bullpen. Davis looks in, has his sign. He's set, checks first, and the 0-1. And this ball hit the left center field and deep. Going back is Grayson, a couple steps in front of the track. He'll make the catch. Tagging and scoring is Mitch Elliott. A sacrifice fly for Brandon Roberts. And the normal Cornbelters take the lead here in the top of the 8th. It's now 3-2 normal. Elliott comes in to score. And Craig Laprie staying at first for Brandon Roberts. That is RBI number 2 on the season. Sacrifice fly, 3-2. The normal Cornbelters now lead your Washington Wild Things, and that'll bring up the catcher, Dylan Kelly. Kelly so far is 1 for 3. Flew out in the second, doubled in the 5th, and grounded out in inning number 7. Devin Davis has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch, and Kelly takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Normal taking the lead here in the top of the 8th on the sacrifice fly by Brandon Roberts. Davis looks into Pollock, has his sign, he's set, and the 1-0. And this one's fouled off at the plate. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Dylan Kelly. Taking a look at some... 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 men out. Now going to take a look at some scores around the Frontier League. Davis has his sign, he's set. I'm still looking for a sign, actually. Now he's set. And the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. Now time is called as they want to go through the signs again. Evansville still leading the Joliet Slammers by a score of 2-0 in this game. That game in the top of the 3rd. The pitch, and that one's low for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Matt Frodden, pretty good start on the night, giving up 1 run through 6 innings of work. But now Colin Stanley came in and gave up a run. Now Devin Davis has given up a run in his inning of work. Davis looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. That one swung on a miss. The count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. 2 men out here in the top of the 8th. 3-2. Normal Cornbelters leading this one over your Washington Wild Things. Dylan Kelly, the catcher in this one, number 8 hitter in the Cornbelters order, is at the plate with a runner at first and 2 men out. A run in on the sac fly by Brandon Roberts. Davis looks in, has his sign, he's set, checks first, and the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And a swing and a miss. Kelly strikes out, and the inning is over. Unfortunately, though, the Cornbelters get a run in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 7.5, the score, normal Cornbelters 3 and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 8th, and the score, the normal Cornbelters 3 and your Washington Wild Things 2. New pitcher for the normal Cornbelters coming on is right-hander Brennan Smith. Smith enters this one with a record of 1-0, a 5.40 ERA. Has appeared in only 1 game this season through 1 2/3 innings. Gave up 1 hit, 1 run. It was earned. Walked 1 and struck out 2 so far this season. So his second game with the normal Cornbelters. Starter Mike Elwood went 7 innings in this one. Gave up 2 runs, all earned on on 4 hits, no walks, and 7 strikeouts in the ball game. He is in line for the win if the Normal Cornbelters can hang on to this slim 1-run lead. Due up for the Wild Things here in the 8th, Jamadric Magruder, Zach Fish, and Austin Wobrock, 7, 8, and 9 versus the new pitcher Smith. Smith, as we said, in his second game for the Normal Cornbelters. Brennan Smith from the Erie Seawolves, the Double-A organization for the Detroit Tigers, standing in at 6'3", 210. A switch hitter, but throws from the right side, is from Sandusky, Ohio, coming into the game against the Wild Things. Jamadric Magruder at the plate. Magruder so far 0 for 2, flew out in inning number 2, and struck out in inning number 5. Brennan Smith, the new pitcher, on in relief for Mike Elwood. Smith looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch to Magruder. And that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Jamadric Magruder. Magruder is going to be playing in his 11th game for the Wild Things. Smith has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, no strike pitch. And Magruder takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. Count goes even at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Magruder standing in there at 5'7", 165 from Mesquite, Texas. Played for the Grand Prairie Air Hogs last season, which is where he came to the Wild Things from. Smith has his sign, the 1-1, and that one's outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Magruder working ahead here against Brennan Smith. Magruder was the leadoff man for his first 7 games with the Wild Things, so knows how to work a count. We'll do that here against Smith in the bottom of the 8th. Smith set the 2-1, and that one's a called strike on the inside corner. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, nobody out, bottom of the 8th. Cornbelters took the lead in the top of the 8th on the sacrifice fly by Brendan Roberts. They lead 3-2. Brennan Smith has his sign, he's set, and the 2-2 pitch. Magruder fouls this one off, so he stays alive as the count remains even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Elwood out of the game. Elwood was very good, just gave up 4 hits on the night through 7 innings of work on the mound against your Wild Things and did a very nice job. Brennan Smith looking into his catcher, Dylan Kelly. Smith has his sign. He's set. Looking in. And the pitch on the way. And that one's a called strike 3. Jamadric Magruder strikes out. Smith's first strikeout of the night. And there's 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th. That brings to the plate the designated hitter, Zach Fish. Fish 0 for 2 to this point. Flew out in the 3rd and struck out looking in inning number 5. 1 out. Cornbelters lead 3-2 here in the bottom of inning number 8 with 1 man out. And Zach Fish to the plate. Brennan Smith, as we said, pitched for the Erie Seawolves. Pitched actually this year for the Seawolves. And in 4 games, all starts, went 0-1 with a 14.79 ERA in 14 innings pitched. Smith set and the pitch on the way to Fish. And Fish takes this one for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on Zach Fish. He's actually played for 6 years in the Detroit Tigers organization. Mostly in single A. Got the move to double A in 2014 and never really settled. This next pitch is inside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. In total, played for 4 teams in the minor leagues. Went 19-34 with a 3.79 ERA in 518 1/3 affiliated ball innings pitched. Smith has his sign, the 1-1, and Fish swing and a miss on a pitch in the inside corner, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out, bottom of the 8th, 3-2. The Normal Cornbelters lead. More action in the Cornbelters bullpen as Race Parmenter warming up out there for the Wild Things. Zach Groats up in their bullpen. Smith has his sign. He's set. And the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this ball hit towards center field. On is Ty Morris. And out goes the second baseman, Fletcher. And Fletcher will make the catch for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the 8th. And that brings up the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wobrock so far 0 for 2. Grounded out in the 3rd and grounded out in inning number 5. 2 men out here in the bottom of the 8th. 3-2. The Normal Cornbelters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Wobrock hitting the number 9 spot. Wild Things trying to break a 3-game losing streak. Got swept by the Southern Illinois Miners and currently down 3-2 here to the Normal Cornbelters in game 1 of this 3-game series. Smith has his sign. He's set. And the pitch on the way. And Wobrock takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things shortstop. Wobrock in his second year with the Washington Wild Things was second on the team in RBIs last season, hit 31 a season ago. Smith set and the 1-ball no-strike pitch. And Wobrock lines this one foul back into the stands here on the left field side, and the count goes to 1-1 strike. 1-1, 2 men out, bottom of the 8th. 3 runs, 9 hits for the Cornbelters. 2 runs on 4 hits for your Washington Wild Things. 2 men out, bottom of the 8th. 3-2, the normal Cornbelters lead over your Wild Things. Looking in is Brennan Smith. Smith has his sign. He's set. And the 1-1 strike pitch. And Wobrock takes this one high for a ball. Count goes to 2-1. As we said, Brennan Smith in his first appearance for the Cornbelters only threw 1 2/3 innings in the game. Did walk a man and struck out 2 while giving up 1 run in the outing. Smith has his sign. He's set. And the 2-1 strike pitch. And Wobrock grounding this one to the right side. Aaron Dudley will handle it, takes it to the bag himself, and that's in time for out number 3. 1, 2, 3 go the Wild Things here in the 8th. And after 8 innings of play, the score, normal 3, and your Washington Wild Things 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 9th, and the score, the normal Cornbelters 3 and your Washington Wild Things 2. New pitcher for the Wild Things is the closer, Zach Groats. Not in a save situation here. Groats so far in the year 0-2, 9 saves on the season, a 1.68 ERA, as appearing in his 23rd game. Has thrown 26 2/3 innings, giving up 5 runs all earned on 20 hits, 31 strikeouts, and 8 walks on the season. Zach Groats in relieving Devin Davis. Davis's final line, he went an inning, gave up 2 hits, a run. It was earned on no walks and 1 strikeout. So Zach Groats into the ball game. Due up to face him here in the top of the 9th, Ty Morris, Justin Fletcher, and Santiago Chirino, 9-1-2 against the Wild Things closer. Last inning for the normal Cornbelters. Mitch Elliott singled to start things, then Nolan Meadows singled. Craig Laprie would hit into a fielder's choice, 3-6 on the putout. Meadows was cut down at second. So there were runners at first and third with 1 man out before Brandon Roberts hit a sacrifice fly to left center field. That scored Mitch Elliott and gave the Cornbelters this 3-2 lead. Dylan Kelly would strike out to end the inning. Ty Morris making his way to the plate. Morris so far 1 for 3, doubled in the 3rd, popped out in the 5th, and flew out in inning number 7. Nobody out here in the top of the 9th, and 3-2, the normal Cornbelters lead. Zach Groats on to try to keep it a 1-run deficit for the Wild Things and get the Wild Things back to the bat racks in the bottom of the 9th. Groats looking in, has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. 4th pitcher used today for the Washington Wild Things. Matt Frodden started, went 6th. Then Colin Stanley, an inning of work. Devin Davis, an inning of work. And now Groats in for an inning of work. This pitch fouled off, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Groats currently the team leader in ERA. His ERA on the season currently sits at 1.68. Has been very good and very reliable out of the bullpen this season for the Wild Things. Just 2 blown saves on the year. The 0-2, and that one lined on the left field line. Watch out over there in the normal bullpen, and the count will remain no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Nobody out here in the top of the 9th. 3-2. The normal Cornbelters leading over your Washington Wild Things. Groats looks in, has his sign, the 0-2 pitch. And that one swung on and missed. Ty Morris strikes out, and that's out number 1 here in the top of the 9th. 1 up, 1 down. The 32nd strikeout on the year for Zach Groats. Now ties him for 4th on the team. Or excuse me, puts him still at 5th as Devin Davis got a strikeout in the 8th inning. 32 strikeouts on the year for Groats, and that brings up the second baseman, Justin Fletcher. Fletcher so far on the day is 1 for 2, single in the first, sack bunt in the third as he's bunting here, and that one's popped foul and out of play. The count goes to 0-1. No balls and a strike on Fletcher. As I was saying, single, sack bunt, sack fly, and he struck out, but he reached base and was able to score the run that tied the game in the 7th inning. Groats has his sign. He's set in the 0-1, and that one swung on a miss. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Zach Groats, also a very good strikeout pitcher out of the bullpen. 31 strikeouts in 26 and 2/3 innings for Groats coming into tonight. Groats has his sign. He's set in the 0-2, and that one's inside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Justin Fletcher, the leadoff man. Fletcher's driven in one of his team's 3 runs to this point. Groats has his sign, the 1-2 pitch, and that one's in the dirt. Blocked back there by Kyle Pollock, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Groats tried to flip in the breaking ball, trying to get Fletcher to chase. Unfortunately, Fletcher does not chase, and the count goes to 2-2. The 2-2 pitch, and that one's inside and low for a ball, so the count goes full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. For Groats, just 8 walks in 26 and 2/3 innings of work, so not very wild, usually very under control. See if you can get him 3-2. Here it comes, and a swing and a slow roller off to the right, but this one will go foul, and the count remains 3-2. Francisco Carrillo making the play over there, over in the first base coaching box for the normal Cornbelters. As we said, the Cornbelters like to rotate a pitcher over there in the first base coaching box, while their manager Brooks Carey stands in the first base coaching box. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Groats looks in, has his sign, and the pitch on the way. And this one grounded right in front of the plate. Kyle Pollock comes out. He fields, throws to first, and the throw pulls Uxa off the bag. It'll be an E2 as Pollock had to try to come out in front of the plate, make that play. His throw to first ended up pulling Logan Uxa off the bag. The E2 there on Kyle Pollock, and that'll bring to the plate the shortstop Santiago Chirino. Chirino so far is 1 for 3. Flew out in the first, grounded out in the third, was hit by a pitch in the 5th, and hit an RBI single in inning number 7. So the error allows Justin Fletcher to reach with 1 man out, and Chirino at the plate. 3-2, the normal Cornbelters lead over your Washington Wild Things. Zach Groats, the closer in. Groats, a product of the Houston Astros organization, pitched in single A for the Astros. Groats has his sign, checks first and the pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the normal Cornbelters shortstop. 1 out, top of the 9th. 3-2, normal leading over your Wild Things. Zach Groats looks into Kyle Pollock. Groats has his sign, checks first, and the 1 ball, no strike pitch. Taking off for second is Fletcher, and that one lined foul off to the right. The count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Santiago Chirino. 1 out in the top of the 9th. Matt Frodden started this game for your Wild Things. Went 6 innings, gave up 1 run. It was earned, gets a no decision in this one. Then Colin Stanley came in, gave up a run in his inning of work. Then Devin Davis last inning, a run in his inning of work. And now Groats on here in the 9th. Groats looking into Kyle Pollock. Has his sign. He's set. Checks first. And the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one is a called strike, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Santiago Chirino. 1 man out, top of the 9th. Justin Fletcher, the runner at first base. Fletcher reached on an error. Groats checks Fletcher over there. Now looking into Pollock. And now he'll want to step off and go through the signs again. Didn't like what he saw from Fletcher over at first base. For Justin Fletcher this year, currently has 2 stolen bases on the year. The pitch, grounded to third. Rodriguez charging, has it, throws to second for 1, and they're not going to have a return throw to first. Fielder's choice, 5-4 on the putout as Justin Fletcher cut down at second. Santiago Chirino replaces him at first, and that'll bring up the first baseman, Aaron Dudley. Dudley so far 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, a flyout, and 2 flyouts in this game. Robbed of a double in inning number 5. A great play made by Chris Grayson. Grayson went all the way back to the wall, leaped at the wall, and made a nice catch about halfway up to retire the side in the 5th. 3-2 Cornbelters lead. 2 outs, top of the 9th. Zach Groats has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. This ball grounded foul off to the right, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Cornbelters first baseman, Aaron Dudley. Dudley came into this game currently leading the team in RBIs with 51 RBIs on the season, but so far 0 for 4 tonight. Wild Things have been able to neutralize him out of the number 3 hole. Zach Groats looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-1. And that one's low for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1, 2 men out, top of the ninth. 3 runs, 9 hits for the Cornbelters. 2 runs, 4 hits, and an error for your Wild Things. Righty Zach Groats out of the bullpen on. The 4th man the Wild Things have used. Groats has his sign. He's set, checks first, and the 1-1. And this one swung on and fouled away, so the count goes to 1-2 off the shin of Aaron Dudley, and that never feels good as he's jumping around, getting out of the batter's box, trying to walk it off. Dudley has that shin guard on, but it hit above that shin guard, just a little bit below the knee, and that's still painful for Dudley. Dudley walking it off as manager Brooks Carey giving him some time, talking to the home plate umpire Mike Shields. Kyle Pollock also giving time as he goes out to talk to Zach Groats. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out. The number 3 hitter, Aaron Dudley, at the plate. Groats trying to get his Wild Things back to the bat Rex in the bottom of the ninth, down by a run. Runner at first is Santiago Chirino. He reached on a fielder's choice. There are 2 men out and a runner at first. Zach Groats looking in to Kyle Pollock. Groats checks first, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this ball grounded foul, so the count will remain 1-2. Aaron Dudley staying alive, trying not to go 0 for 5 in this one. He's gone 0 for 4 so far on the day. Against the starter, Matt Frauden, he struck out and flew out twice, and then in the 7th inning, Colin Stanley struck him out. Zach Groats looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one hit the right field. Dave Popkins running over, and he will make the running catch for out number 3. A very nice play there by Dave Popkins, and that will end the inning. No runs in the inning on no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. After 8.5 the score, Normal 3, and your Washington Wild Things 2. Wild Things looking for a walk-off winner in the bottom of the ninth. Come right back. Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the ninth, and the score, Normal Cornbelters 3, and your Washington Wild Things 2. New pitcher for the Normal Cornbelters is on as the closer, Race Parmenter. Parmenter, comes into this game with a record of 3-1, 6 saves on the year, a 3.17 ERA, appearing in his 25th game. He's thrown 34 innings of work, giving up 14 runs, 12 earned on 27 hits, 15 walks, and 28 strikeouts on the year. Due up to face him here in the ninth. 1, 2, 3, Andrew Heck, Chris Grayson, and Ricky Rodriguez trying to get something going here in the ninth inning. Now, for the Wild Things, they have not gotten a hit since the 4th inning of play. There have been 14 straight Wild Things retired by this Cornbelters pitching staff. Andrew Heck stepping to the plate looking to stop that streak here in the bottom of the ninth. Heck so far 1 for 3. Flew out in the first, singled in the third, and grounded out in inning number 6. Next MSA Sports broadcast is tomorrow night, 7:05 first pitch, back here at Consol Energy Park for Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Wild Things and the Cornbelters. Luke Wilkins taking the hill for your Wild Things against Charlie Galise for the Normal Cornbelters. Parmenter has his sign. Here's the pitch, and Heck takes this one outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Andrew Heck. Nobody out, bottom of the ninth, 3-2. Normal leading this game. Parmenter has his sign, he's set, and the 1-0. And this one fouled off down the line and right, and the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Andrew Heck, excuse me, the leadoff man for your Washington Wild Things. Currently stands in at third, and the team walks with 15, and Wild Things would certainly take a walk here. The 1-1, that one swung on a miss. The count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count here on Andrew Heck. Wild Things need 1 to tie, 2 to win. In the bottom of the ninth, down 3-2 to the normal Cornbelters. Parmenter looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1-2 pitch. And this ball fouled off to the right, so the count will remain 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, nobody out. Andrew Heck, as we said earlier, a Pittsburgh native, stands in at 6'3", 206. Bats from the right side and throws from the right side. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Bottom of the ninth from Consol Energy Park. Wild Things entered today 29 and 29. Parmenter looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one's just low for a ball. Count goes to 2-2. Wild Things do have 1 walk-off win this season. It was in a doubleheader. Ricky Rodriguez, a walk-off double, is the only walk-off win for the Wild Things this year. Parmenter's 2-2, and that one's low for a ball, so the count goes full here to Andrew Heck. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count on the Wild Things left fielder. If this game goes to extra innings, Wild Things 1-1 in extra inning games. Lost here at Consol Energy Park and won when they were on the road. The 3-2 pitch, and Heck fouls this one off, so the count will remain full at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Andrew Heck at the plate to lead things off here in the bottom of the ninth, looking to get on and give the Wild Things a chance to tie this game at least, as they're looking to win here in the bottom of the ninth. Parmenter looks in to his catcher, Kelly. Parmenter has his sign, he's set, and the 3 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this one fouled away back into the stands once again, so Heck fighting here against Parmenter. Count remains 3-2 for Parmenter, as we said. 6 saves on the year. Has struck out 67 batters has not struck out 67. He struck out 28 batters in 34 innings of work. So still a good clip. The 3-2, and that ball again popped up. So 3 straight foul balls here by Andrew Heck, making Parmenter work out of the bullpen. Parmenter, the 3rd pitcher used for the normal Cornbelters. Mike Elwood, the pitcher of record, started this game, went 7 innings, gave up 2 runs, both earned on 4 hits, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. Then Brennan Smith came in to pitch the 8th. He went a perfect inning, striking out 1. Parmenter has his sign, the 3-2 to Heck. And that one's a called strike 3. Andrew Heck strikes out, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom of the ninth. Heck not happy at all. He thought he had ball 4 as he was heading down to first base. Andrew Heck is screaming at the home plate umpire, and he is out number 1. That pitch looked off the plate as Heck has a gripe there, but unfortunately it's out number 1, the bottom of the ninth, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far 2 for 3, doubled in the first and singled in a run in inning number 3, would fly out in inning number 6. Andrew Heck not happy at all about that 3rd strike call. Now Grayson will try to get something started with 1 man out. Race Parmenter looking in. Parmenter has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way to Grayson. That one's in there for a strike on the inside corner, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things center fielder. 1 man out, bottom of the ninth. 3-2 the normal Cornbelters lead. Parmenter has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And Grayson, a slow roll to the right side. Charging is Dudley. He has it, flips to the pitcher covering, and that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the ninth, and that brings up the 3rd baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 0 for 3. Struck out looking in the first, grounded out in the 4th, and struck out looking in inning number 6. 2 men out here in the bottom of the ninth. 3-2, normal Cornbelters lead. Wild Things trying to fight back and not fall below 500. Cornbelters looking for their 30th win of the year. They sit at 29 and 31. Parmenter has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Ricky Rodriguez. Wild Things, we said, is not getting a hit since the 4th inning of this ball game, as they've had 16 straight retired. Here's the 1-0, and this one hit the right field and deep. Back going the right fielder to the wall, and it's off the wall. Rodriguez around first, heading to second, and he's in there with a 2-out double. That close to a game-tying home run hit just below the yellow line out and right. Nolan Meadows goes all the way back to the wall, and unfortunately for Rodriguez, it's just below that yellow line. And now there's a runner at second, 2 men out. Wild Things have life, and Dave Popkins coming to the plate. Popkins so far 1 for 3, struck out in the first, a solo home run in inning number 4, and a ground out in inning number 7. The double by Ricky Rodriguez giving the Wild Things some life. Runner at second, 2 men out. Rodriguez takes his lead. Parmenter looking in, has his sign, he's set, checks second, and the pitch to Popkins. And Popkins to right center field. It's going back, and this ball's off the wall. Rodriguez will score. This game is tied at 3. Popkins in there with the RBI double. It is 3-3, and your Wild Things have fought back. Popkins' second RBI of the day. Rodriguez scores. It's 3-3, and there's still a runner in scoring position with 2 men out. Popkins giving it a ride to the right center field gap. Hit off the wall, and now Logan Uxa coming to the plate. Uxa so far 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a flyout on the day. RBIs number 32 and 33 on the season for Dave Popkins, the team leader in the RBI category. He's driven in 2 today, the solo homer in the 4th, and now an RBI double here in the bottom of the 9th that ties this game between your Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Brooks Carey out there to talk to his pitcher, but Dave Popkins delivering for your Wild Things. Still a runner at second with 2 men out, and Uxa at the plate. Uxa's come up big in situations before, has 4 home runs and 12 RBIs on the season. Winning run standing at second base. Wild Things have tied this game here in the bottom of the 9th. A 2-out RBI double, and they're going to intentionally walk Logan Uxa. They'd rather face Kyle Pollock. An intentional walk here to Logan Uxa, so Uxa will be on first. There'll be runners at first and second with 2 men out, and that'll bring to the plate Kyle Pollock. It's 3-3 here between your Washington Wild Things and the normal Cornbelters. Dave Popkins tying the game with an RBI double, 2-out RBI double off the wall in right center field that scored Rodriguez and made it 3-3 between your Wild Things and the Cornbelters. Parmenter's 4th wide one, and Logan Uxa will walk down to first base. There'll be runners at first and second and 2 outs. Kyle Pollock coming to the plate. Pollock 3 RBIs in Sunday's ball game. So far today, Pollock is 0 for 3, grounded out in the 2nd and the 7th, and flew out in inning number 4. That winning run standing on second base with 2 men out. Race Parmenter looking in, has his sign, checks Popkins, and the pitch. Now he'll look back, and nobody covering second, so Popkins will just make his way back to the bag. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 9th. A run in for the Wild Things. The game is tied at 3. Here's the pitch from Parmenter, and Pollock takes it outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Wild Things catcher, Kyle Pollock. 2 men out here for Consol Energy Park. Bottom of the 9th, Wild Things have scored a run and have tied this ball game. Parmenter has his sign and the 1-0. And Pollock takes this one low, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes to the Wild Things catcher. Pollock being selective at the plate like he should be. Dave Popkins at second, Logan Uxa at first. Popkins doubled in the tying run. Uxa intentionally walked to first. The 2-0. And Pollock to right field. This one going to foul territory. Dudley giving chase, and he's not going to make the catch. It falls in foul territory, and that's strike 1. A good effort there by Aaron Dudley, trying to make the over-the-shoulder catch, but he cannot in foul territory off in right field. And Pollock lives to fight another day. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. 8 RBIs on the year for Kyle Pollock. Just 1 home run was hit here back at Consol Energy Park last Saturday against the Southern Illinois Miners. Parmenter has his sign, checks second, the 2-1. Pollock takes this one for a called strike 2. That one on the outside corner. Count even at 2-2 here on Kyle Pollock. Runners at first and second. 2 men out here in the bottom of the 9th. A run in on the RBI double by Dave Popkins. Parmenter has his sign. He's set. And the 2-2. And that one's low, ball 3. Count goes full here to Kyle Pollock. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 men out. Jamadrick Magruder on deck for your Washington Wild Things. Dave Popkins, the runner at second. Logan Uxa, the runner at first. Parmenter looks in. To his catcher, Dylan Kelly. Has his sign, he's set. And the 3-2. Checks his swing, it's outside, ball 4. Kyle Pollock walks, and now the bases are full of Wild Things here. With 2 men out, Popkins goes to third, Uxa goes to second, and that brings up the second baseman, Jamadric Magruder. Magruder so far 0 for 3. A fly out in the second and 2 strikeouts in this one. Big chance to come through here with the bases loaded and 2 men out. Game tied at 3 here in the bottom of the ninth between the normal Cornbelters and your Washington Wild Things. Looking in is Parmenter. Parmenter has his sign, he's set. Checks Popkins at third. And the pitch. Magruder takes a strike, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things second baseman. Wild Things trying to win this game here in the bottom of the ninth. That winning run standing at third. And Dylan Kelly going to go out to talk to Race Parmenter. This inning started out with Andrew Heck striking out looking. Then Chris Grayson grounded out. Ricky Rodriguez doubled. And then Dave Popkins came through with an RBI double off the right center field wall. Rodriguez scored. The game was tied. Then Logan Uxa intentionally walked. And Kyle Pollock walked after a 3-2 pitch. No balls and a strike, 2 men out. Jamadric Magruder at the plate, bases full of Wild Things. Parmenter looking in to Dylan Kelly. Has his sign, he's set. Checks first and the 0-1. Magruder checks his swing. Did he go around? No, says Ron Whitting Sr. on the bases. Count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Just get on base is what Magruder's got to be thinking. He'll take a walk, a hit by pitch, anything to get that runner in from third. Parmenter has his sign, checks Popkins, and time is called. Count remains 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 men out. Wild Things looking to snap a 3-game losing streak. Parmenter has his sign, he's set. And the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. It hit Jamadric Magruder! It hit him! And this ball game is over! A walk-off hit by pitch hits Magruder in the leg, and you can put it in the books. Your Washington Wild Things win. Final score, Wild Things 4, normal Cornbelters 3. It's the 30th win of the year for your Wild Things. Magruder does it the painful way. A walk-off hit by pitch. Your Wild Things win. Winning pitcher Zach Groats now 1-2. Losing pitcher Race Parmenter. Parmenter falls to 3-2. Keep it right here. We'll be right back for more coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. A walk-off winner tonight for Jamadric Magruder, hit by a pitch. With the bases loaded, Dave Popkins came in, and your Wild Things won. Final score, 4-3. The winning pitcher, Zach Groats. Groats now goes to 1-2 on the season. The losing pitcher is Race Parmenter. Parmenter falls to 3-2 on the year. Scoring recap in this one. The scoring started for the Washington Wild Things in the bottom of inning number 3. Zach Fish flew out to start things. Then Austin Walbrock grounded out. Andrew Heck singled with 2 outs. And then Chris Grayson came through with an RBI single after Heck stole his 5th base of the year. And that made the score 1-0 Washington Wild Things. Then in the bottom of the 4th, Wild Things added on again. Ricky Rodriguez grounded out to start things before Dave Popkins hit his 10th home run of the season. A solo shot over the center field wall. And the score went to 2-0 Wild Things. Logan Uxa nearly hit a home run of his own, the next batter, but he flew out to the wall in center field, and then Kyle Pollock flew out to end that 4th inning. Then the normal Cornbelters got their first run of the game in the top of the 5th. Brandon Roberts singled, Dylan Kelly doubled. There were runners at second and third as Roberts was nearly thrown out at third base. With nobody out, Ty Morris would pop out on the infield, and then Justin Fletcher, a sacrifice fly that scored Brandon Roberts and made the score 2-1 Wild Things. Santiago Chirino would be hit by a pitch, and Aaron Dudley would fly out to end the inning. Then Normal would score again in the top of the 7th. Final line for your starter, Matt Frodden. Frodden went 6 innings, gave up 1 run. It was earned on 6 hits, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. Colin Stanley coming in for the top of the 7th. Got Dylan Kelly to ground out to start things. Then Ty Morris flew out. Justin Fletcher struck out, would have ended the inning. However, it was a pass ball, got by Kyle Pollock, and Fletcher allowed to reach first with 2 men out. Then Santiago Chirino came through with an RBI single that scored Fletcher and made the score 2-2. Wild Things and Cornbelters. Then Aaron Dudley would strike out to end the inning. Then going to the top of the 8th, Cornbelters would take the lead in this one. Mitch Elliott singled to start things. Then Nolan Meadows would single, and Craig Lepre hit into a fielder's choice. That kept runners at first and third with 1 man out before Brandon Roberts came through with a sacrifice fly that scored Mitch Elliott and gave Normal a 3-2 lead. Dylan Kelly would strike out to end that inning. Then, in the bottom of the 9th, your Wild Things down by a run. Andrew Heck struck out looking to start things. Then Chris Grayson grounded out. Ricky Rodriguez doubled, and with 2 outs, Dave Popkins hit a shot to the right center field gap. Hit off the wall. Rodriguez scored, and it tied the game at 3. It was 3-3 in the bottom of the 9th, and Logan Uxa intentionally walked. Kyle Pollock walked, and Jamadric Magruder was hit by a pitch, and that would be it. Magruder hit by the pitch with the bases loaded. Popkins came in. Magruder got the first, and the Wild Things picked up the 4-3 win. It was Magruder's 5th RBI of the year, 2nd walk-off win of the season for your Washington Wild Things as they improve to 30-29 on the year. The winning pitcher, Zach Groats goes to 1-2, and the losing pitcher, Race Parmenter falls to 3-2 on the season. Next Wild Things game will be tomorrow night, 7:05 first pitch, right back here at Consol Energy Park. Luke Wilkins taking the mound for your Washington Wild Things against Charlie Gillies. Luke Wilkins last time out was in relief against the Southern Illinois Miners, relieved Sam Agnew-Whelan, and went 2 perfect innings in that one. So Wilkins looking to produce a good start for the Wild Things tomorrow. Matt Frodden, pretty good start tonight for your Washington Wild Things. Frodden, would go 6 innings in this ball game, giving up 1 run. It was earned on 6 hits, did not walk a batter, and struck out 4 in the contest. Not a bad start. Wild Things bullpen, Colin Stanley and Devin Davis each giving up a run in their innings of work. Zach Groats threw a scoreless top of the 9th and then picked up the win after the walk-off winner in the bottom of the 9th inning. Your Washington Wild Things star of the game going to go to Dave Popkins. Popkins ends the day going 2 for 4, a solo home run, and an RBI double to tie the game in the bottom of the 9th. Dave Popkins, one of your 4 Wild Things All-Stars, wins the Player of the Game honors. As we said, next ball game can be heard tomorrow night, 7:05 first pitch, right here at Consol Energy Park. Game 2 of this 3-game series between your Washington Wild Things and the Normal Cornbelters. Luke Wilkins takes the mound. Wilkins' record on the year is 2-3 with a 3.92 ERA. He will be opposed by Charlie Gillies. Gillies, a record of 2-1 with a 2.36 ERA. Tonight, a walk-off winner for your Washington Wild Things. They get their 30th win of the year. And we're going to take a look at some scores from around the league. Wild Things scoreboard watching. They're a game and a half back from the Joliet Slammers in the Frontier League East Division. And right now in the bottom of the 5th, Evansville is leading Joliet by a score of 2-0. So if Evansville can win, your Washington Wild Things will be a half game out of first place in the Frontier League East. Also around the league, a rain delay in Game 2 of a doubleheader in River City. Lake Erie playing River City earlier today. River City won by a score of 6-3 in Game 1 of that doubleheader. Right now on the top of the 6th, Schaumburg leading Gateway by a score of 4-2. And at Rent One Park in the bottom of the 5th, Southern Illinois leading Windy City by a score of 2-0. Southern Illinois has won 9 straight games and is perfect since the All-Star breaks. They are on a roll right now, looking to win game number 10 in Rent One Park against Windy City. Another final from today, Traverse City beat Florence Freedom by the score of 4-3. Final score in this one, Wild Things a walk-off winner, 4-3 victory as Jamadric Magruder gets the walk-off hit by pitch. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night, 7:05 p.m. And I'd like to thank you for listening to the MSA Sports Network. Wild Things win 4-3. And have a good night, everybody.